I don't even think you have to be on skates for that. I'm willing to be cross-checked into glasses.
You're willing to take it.
If it's gentle. As long as they're gentle. Professional. You know.
Relatively sure it's not how it works. I've been wrong.
You can do it in slow motion.
Busy day on the broadcast today. 844-GSP, ESPN, 844-477-3776. Text this on the Ingles Market text line at 71307. 71307. Start your text ESPN so that we can read it on the air. 7307 is 1307 is the text line. Tweet us at The Rob Brown Show. At Lonzo on Word, at ESPN Upstate, all the different ways for you to get in touch with us on this edition of your 2021 Star Award nominated Rob Brown Show. Best talk show in the state. Have we said that on air?
Not today.
Good enough time to me. Good enough time. I was actually, as a matter of fact, I was out at a local establishment last night and had a gentleman come up to me. I host trivia a couple nights a week just to get out of the house and make a little fair scratch. And a guy comes up to me and he goes, "Hey man, I've been trying to place you for a while on radio." Yeah. And he goes, "Bro, congratulations, man. Y'all deserve it." So the people have spoken. The people have spoken. At ESPN, Lonzo got to be able to move on ice skates and actually survive himself before he can cross anyone. Can you skate?
I roller skating for sure. I've been ice skating a couple times, but I will tell you it was before me. And so it's been quite some time. But I did not stroll on the ice skates. Being cross-checked or cross-checking someone else, all I got to do is fall really fast. I can do that.
At ESPN, Rob, can you please go back home to do the show? Things are much smoother. I mean, no stream every day, and I kind of miss the stream's up. I mean, I completely understand missing the grandma pictures. I mean, who wouldn't? But the stream's up. Facebook.com/ESPN Upstate.com/ESPN or search The Rob Brown Show on YouTube. Stream's running on all three locations. And
I would say I could suggest that you actually come in a little bit earlier and set that stuff up, and things like that.
More work. Yeah, and you are the one that does all the extra work.
Yeah, well, I'm willing to do that for you. I am a little busy at that time, but I can take time when I come in here to set everything from now on. I can't set up your stuff. You got to do your own thing.
I spent an hour yesterday in here sitting next to Diesel, y'all. Sitting next to Diesel, getting the computers and everything straightened up. So, look.
Now that would be something totally.
It's time, ladies and gentlemen, to get the show started. So, let's get the show started.
Let's do lunch.
This is a very nutritious lunch. All the food groups are represented.
You guys hear? What in the wide world of sports is going on here? Lunch!
The lunch breakdown of 3 things you have to know. You go start talking sports with your friends, family, coworker, or whoever you spend your lunch break with. This shall be the scuttlebutt around the lunch table today. These are the things that you gotta know before you go start talking sports. This is the letdown. We start with item number 1. Your NBA draft lottery took place last night. A lot of teams optimistic about the future, and it is ultimately the Detroit Pistons that end up with the number 1 pick in the upcoming NBA draft. Last night, we saw a handful of teams that were waiting their turn to find out where they would draft, and Detroit ends up with the number 1 overall pick in the big dance. It was exactly what we thought it would be. By the way, a stat last night going into the lottery that kind of blew my mind, right? There's a lot of folks, especially of some teams that just don't have great luck, that don't like they're not big fans of the lottery. How Orlando Magic 24 lotteries have the Magi been eligible for. They are, Alonzo, 0 for 24 for moving up spots in the lottery draft. That's really, never happened.
That's very consistent of them.
It is. It is. Detroit, represented on television last night by Big Ben Wallace, named to the Hall of Fame, and then the good luck charm for the Pistons. They get number 1. The Rockets take the 2 spot, the Cavs, and then the Raptors round out the 4. After that, it's Orlando by way of a pickup. Oklahoma City, Golden State, Orlando again, which gets Chicago selections, Sacramento, and New Orleans gets the number 10 pick. Charlotte, San Antonio, Indiana, and Golden State round out the lottery picks. The Magic and Warriors each landed 2 picks in the lottery. Detroit, after taking 3 players in the first round of last year's draft, Killian Hayes, Isaiah Stewart, and Sadiq Bey, will now get a chance to add a high-end talent to the mix. They have the top overall pick for the first time, Lonzo, since 1970, when they drafted Bob Lanier out of back in the 70s. 1970, the last time the Pistons had the number 1 overall pick.
Bob freaking
Lanier. Oklahoma State guard Cade Cunningham is projected by many to be the number 1 overall pick. Sources told ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski that the plan for Cunningham will be to visit only one team before the draft, and that, of course, will pocket. Making the season saw things go in an entirely different direction after getting rid of James Harden for the Nets for a bevy of picks. But after finishing with the NBA's worst record, Houston got a bit of luck yesterday, allowing it a chance to immediately begin to restock its coffers around center Christian Wood with an elite young talent there at the number 2. Colin Sexton, Darius Garland, Isaac Okoro, as well as center Jarrett Allen are all going to be up there as well. Cleveland picked 5th the past 2 seasons, this time around to number 3. So that's where we stand right now. Texter says at ESPN, can we verify that the triple pane glass boards in rink can withstand the force of Lonzo falling forward into them? Another texter says, can we put some safety systems in place so that Lonzo is not mistaken for the Zamboni? The texters got something today, Zoe. They own something today.
That's the old me. I'm not that large. I mean, not
Zamboni big.
Yeah, I'm not Zamboni big. I am. I think I'm a little bit. Says what is average? What's average hockey size? I wonder. Height and weight. Average hockey.
Less than us.
Is it really?
Yes.
Because I always thought goalies would be kind of big.
Nope. They're surprisingly not.
So it's more about mobility.
Yes.
Okay.
It's more about flexibility and reflexes. You got to do splits, et cetera, et cetera. No, we're neither one of us is a goalie, but we would both be enforcers, I think. We would both be enforcers.
Big time goon, without a doubt.
Yeah, you would be, no doubt about it. Item number 2 on the lunch breakdown. We found out yesterday that the expansion plan for college football has indeed its first major hurdle. Heather Denich reported earlier in the week that yesterday would be the day that would go in front of a committee for the first time. And the go-ahead from that very first meeting, that was her that needed to be cleared. As we have mentioned multiple times, we do know that the commissioners will have to get on board. ESPN will have to get on board. The schools and chancellors and presidents will have to be on board. But we now know that Ozil has cleared a big hurdle when 11 presidents and chancellors who have the ultimate authority over the format authorized the 10 FBS commissioners to, quote, begin a summer review phase, end quote, to determine the feasibility of an expanded field and work on the details of how and when it might be. This was an important step without the support of the presidents and chancellors make up the college football playoffs board of managers. Some of the most powerful people in college football sat in a room yesterday to further explore the 12-team format. And now it seems to be a matter of when, not if, the postseason will grow again. But those within that room continue to caution that this will be a long process and unpredictable process. The board of managers and management again until September. Mississippi State and board chair Mark Keenan. I don't think anyone in the room has a problem with the concept of this 12-team proposal, but the devil's in this. We've got to get into details before we can make an informed decision. If we decide to make it, when would we do that? When would it work for us? When would it be more feasible? I just don't know. I want to caution observers of this process, not just our board may decide. We still have a lot more information to the table for the board of managers to make any decisions going forward. The next step will be full discussions with Bowl partners and ESPN television executives, along with continued conversations with coaches, athletic directors, and athletes. Keenum said those should start taking place this summer. And again, we will continue to wait for details. Item number 3 on the lunch breakdown. We know that earlier this week, the Supreme Court handed down a massive decision regarding the NIL laws about whether or not players could be played, et cetera, et cetera. Now we know, at least to some degree, Mark Emmert's reaction to that. As said, in a memo that was sent out to individual schools earlier in the week, he has laid out his response to what comes. We start looking at your individuals, and if that Mark Emmert set out. He told individual schools to start looking into the rules, which doesn't shock me at all, ultimately. Mark Emmert said in the memo, quote, since that time, many states have enacted NIL legislation and 10 state laws can take effect this July. It is therefore essential we now enact rules before the end of the month, end quote. He also wrote in the memo, quote, by July, all our athletes should be provided NIL opportunities regardless of the state. I have directed my staff create proposals to this end. We will provide more details next week as this approach is reviewed by the NCAA Board of Governors and the divisional governance bodies. End quote. Here's why Mark Emmert is saying what he's saying. Saying what he is for one reason alone. The more ground rules that you put into place, the more structure that you have as an organization, the more difficult it will be for state governments and the feds to step in and get involved. The more groundwork that you have, the more control over the situation you have as it continues to develop. Mark Emmert knows that. This memo and everything that he said over the past couple weeks, though, is to lay a foundation to where the NCAA has as much decision-making and as much, shall we say, guidance over the process as they can get before the states and feds really start putting their hands into the pot.
You know, that's getting out in front of it. That's a smart move, because once the government gets involved and gets control, they're not going to give it back to you. So you get as much control and lay everything down, as you were talking about, as you can, because you don't want them in there running the place that you've been running. And that's what it looks like is going to happen if you don't. But so the government will have to put out some guidelines for you to adhere to, won't they? I mean, or what you're saying is they establish them for you.
Yes. If you lay down ground rules that are open, honest, and fair, subjectively, then when the government when the states and the feds come a-calling, right, because they are going to start laying down their own laws as to what's good and what's not, the more you have on the table to point and go, hey, look, we already got this. We got that covered. We got that covered. That's more that you get to dictate the terms and less that the government gets to dictate
But
the terms.
do you really? because I mean, what you're saying guidelines. So the government can come in and go, yeah,
they
that's
can still overturn.
what we had in mind.
Correct.
I think obviously you take the chance, try to set things up, and hopefully, you know what, I really don't want to put that much work into it. It looks like you already took care of it. Okay.
Yeah, it's very simply, you want to try to control as much. And it's not going to say you're going to win them all. But if you lay down 10 rules and you get in charge of 5 of them, or you lay down 150 rules and you get 30 of them approved, you still have more say over the process.
And it's going to vary from state to state, and it's going to depend on, one way of looking at it, how that particular government.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's take a break. Coming up today on the show, in about, we'll call it 15, 20 minutes, yesterday afternoon, I should say, I sat down with Kyle Sullivan. Kyle runs a podcast called Here in Puckburg, phenomenal hockey podcast that I just picked up on about a week ago. I made a guest appearance on his podcast last week. Kyle comes in to talk a little bit about the Lightning in the Islander series going on in the Stanley Cup. At 1:15, Doug Irwin, CBO for the Greenville Triumph, is our guest as we do a weekly Greenville Triumph segment. And I spent in time this morning reading about DNA test tuna fish. And I learned so many things that I call fascinating that I'm going to bore you with, but it's worth sticking around for. That'll be later on in the show. The Rob Brown Show's on your radio. Rob Lonzo, it's ESPN Upstate.
Need to switch the TV back there.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Trucks running on Saturday, the Xfinity Series on Sunday, and 2 Cup Series races this weekend on Saturday and on Sunday. Sunday's race has had a sponsor, the Explorer, the Pocono Mount 350. However, the first race on Saturday, just picking up their sponsor, it will be known as the Pocono Organic CBD 325. One note from NASCAR, when they run at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, they are not going to...
All right, so I looked this up during the break. During the show, actually. The average NHL hockey player is 6'1". So well, I'm 6'1.5". So I'm about average for an NHL. Yeah, you are. And I used to be 6'1.5". Who knows? I may have shrank since then, but I don't think so. And the average weight is cruiserweight. So
Really?
they're around 205.
So I would be a goon. You would 100%. Back line, hit everything that comes across the blue line.
I remember what I look like in football equipment. I would love to see what I look like in hockey equipment with the hair just flowing out. And just for the fun. You know what? If anything, for pictures, just throw up on that. If we can start getting pictures of us in various uniforms in various places. I mean, even if we just show for a little while, go get a picture taken. I just think that would be kind of cool.
Let me add some stuff to my to-do list.
Content creator.
I can take the pictures.
Oh, we know people, or you know people who take pictures. That's not more about being allowed to put on set equipment.
Yeah, I think I might be able to arrange that. Ben, Lisa, Steven, Josh, Keegan, howdy everybody on the stream. Welcome in. Happy whatever today. What's today?
It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday.
That's right. It's Triumph Day.
Oh, do they have theme music that they play in their stadium or anything?
Not really.
So if you have a little time today or by next week,
yep,
let us go through our memeable music and find something that sounds soccer-like.
Okay.
To make it a theme. I want to. I mean, because it's a reoccurring segment, so having its own theme. And maybe we can just have someone saying goal for like 10 minutes. The background. Okay.
My goal call. Spectacular.
I would expect no less from an award-winning show host.
Key. Back straight.
Yes.
Deep breath. So as the ball is heading towards goal, you go ahead and get the deep breath in. If it doesn't go in, great. You're set up to call the miss. But when it does go in, you're ready.
It's like when you're singing a song and you note and you get that extra gulp
like
right before.
ahead.
Yeah. Okay.
Go. For that for like 10 minutes.
Okay. But if you're going to do it, you got to put something on it. We'll go in the production room and just let you wail. Just to let everyone know, obviously we're not complacent. We're building. We're working.
Yeah.
We're moving.
How do you think?
Moving ever upward.
You think we became there? How do you think that happened? 88% Lonzo, 8% Rob. Whatever the rest percent is, luck.
No luck in there. It's all skill between the both of us.
Oh, I wasn't looking. Sweden just scored. I could have done it. Dadgummit. 1-0 Sweden over Poland. 26 minutes played.
Hey, could you move that back just a little?
Oh yeah.
So I could see some.
That way for the record.
Oh, I know. I just didn't want to get up. You don't have to bring it. I mean, that's well. You can go down a little bit more for you. Okay.
And I've got this over here. The Robert.
It's on.
Can I hear? Oh. I got a bad headphone thinger over here.
Let's go. You're on.
Well, then this thing.
You're try that one if you have to.
My mother just told me, don't wear that shirt again. It looks sloppy. It's the Greenville Triumph jersey. It's match day. We got a match today. Triumph at home against Forward Madison. Little Wednesday afternoon football, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, here's what you got to do, and this would help your mom. I was going to say, just kind of puff it out a little bit. There you go.
There it is.
There we go.
I have bad posture. That's just a fact. Sitting at home on the couch for a year and 4 months, there's really no way to have good posture on a couch.
I don't know. You go around this building and you show me someone in radio with good posture.
Also true. 844-77-3776, 844-GSP-ESPN. 1-0 Sweden over Poland. Poland is last in Group E. This will, unless they have a remarkable comeback, will likely be Poland's final game in Euro 2020. Sweden up 1-0 right now. Slovakia playing Spain in Group E as well, as today's the day where we'll have I guess all four teams, 2 final games of each group at the same time so that nobody can plot their differential and play for wins, draws. They got to go out there and actually play. Anyway, 28 minutes exchange played in both matches, 1-0 on Poland. Slovakia and España are all square at 0 apiece in Euro 2020. Let's do some sound here. Why not? Let's do some sound. Do me a favor. Give me clip number 11, Lonzo. This is a sports attorney by the name of Jeffrey Kessler. And Jeffrey Kessler, go! That but long.
No, that was good because you hit the red. You didn't go deep into the red.
You saw the ball off the back and everything. Yeah,
good job.
It's professional. España has scored first 29 minutes and some change in Spain, now up on Slovakia 1-0. This is Jeffrey Kessler. He is a sports law attorney who deals primarily with antitrust lawsuits in the world of sports. Here is what he had to say about the Supreme Court ruling handed down earlier this week.
This case was never about very few who are fortunate to make it into the pros and have a long professional career. This is about the 98% of the Division I football and basketball players, even at the top level, who this is their one shot at reaping the awards for what they could generate and doing it in a way here that will also further their education. So it was compelling on an individual level beyond all else.
Now, for the sake of discussion, Jeffrey Kessler is a guy who is going to clearly come down on the side of the athletes as an antitrust lawyer working in the world of sports. He has a vested interest in that side of the argument, but I think his point stands, right? That's the point from the beginning. 99% of the athletes in college football and basketball, really all college sports everywhere, 99% of them are not going pro. Not in what they play. What was that catchphrase the NCAA worked for a while? 99% of us will go pro in something else.
I think they still play those promos. They're actually pretty good, yeah.
So that's his point, is that, yeah, you're getting the education, but you have one shot, one opportunity.
So what do you think? You think Jersey? I was trying to place the accent. I'm going with Jersey.
You got one shot, one opportunity to make money on your name, your face, your image, your likeness. Unless, because let's be real, the majority of guys who are going to have lengthy opportunities in order to make money are the guys who are already at the top. They're going on after that anyway. This is to spread the wealth a little bit. So that is what Jeffrey Kessler had to say. Clip number 4, please, Lonzo. Yesterday, Paul Feinbaum and Damian Woody were on Get Up with Mike Greenberg, and both of them wanted to chime in as well. Here is Feinbaum and Damian Woody on their thoughts on the ruling.
Greeny, I know you're a big REM fan in the 90s. They had the famous song, It's the End of the World as We Know It. This is the end of the NCAA as we know it. The funeral hasn't happened yet. The last rites have not been uttered, but it's over for the NCAA. It won't happen tomorrow. It won't happen next week, but the next lawsuit will bury the NCAA, and Judge Kavanaugh said that yesterday.
All right, that's exactly the opinion that we were. And Woody, I wanted to bring you in again as career at Boston College as former CW action.
Greeny, when that whole thing came down, like I was on the floor laughing. You don't understand, man. Like the fact that someone could go buy you a hot dog and you could be in hot water and you see all of these, you see everyone else profiting off the backs of the student athletes. You know, Mark Emmert making $4 million, coaches making $9-10+ million. And then Greeny, everyone talks about student athlete. Well, guess what? If you're a student, there's certain courses you can't even take because it interferes with the athletic side of it. So it's all hypocrisy.
It's the end of the NCAA as we know it. It's the end of the NCAA as we know it.
The one thing about me, well, they can't take certain courses because shut up. I mean, there's certain things you can't take because it has nothing to do with any of this.
Mildly disagree. Mildly, just like faintest hint of disagreement. There is a lot you cannot do when you are a football or basketball player.
No. He's talking about courses you can't take.
There are.
Yeah, but you work your schedule or whatever you're doing. It doesn't matter if you're an athlete or not.
Yes and no. I mean, yes, of course you have to work your schedule around whatever you're doing. Of course you do. That's how it works to be on schedule.
Wow, available at this time, but that course is not available at that time. That means I can't take the course. That's normal for going to college, period.
Which is great, except if you're a business major and there is an intro to business course that is required for your graduation, but it's only offered on Thursdays at 3:00, and Thursdays at 3:00 are mandatory weightlifting with the football team. So you physically can't take that class unless you are either A, granted a waiver, which the academic side do, B, you can petition the school to offer that class to just you as an aside from third class.
Well, what school are you at?
I don't know, one that has a good business school.
So probably not. So probably not a good football team. If you're with a good football team,
right. But
the petition would go through.
Right, but this lawsuit doesn't only cover people at good schools or lesser schools. It covers all of them.
In theory, yes.
But theoretically, what Damian Woody is describing, yes, it probably only talks about a minority of college athletes within a small subset that we are talking about of the group. But the point is, what is required to back up to be on a football, basketball, baseball, soccer, whatever team is a lot, and it does take away from a lot of what you can do. So yes, Damian Woody, and I'm not even arguing in favor of Damian Woody. I'm trying to make his point for him here. I'm not saying he's right or wrong. I'm just trying to make his point. It's got to be tough if you're it's not a good school. All right, let's use Alabama for an example. To watch Nick Saban bringing in 10.2 or whatever it is, $1 million a year to be available for the same times that you're available. And obviously he does stuff outside of just coaching, the recruiting and all that. But $9.5 billion a year or $1 million a year, 10.2, whatever it is, $1 million a year. And then get told that if somebody buys you, as Damian Woody said, somebody buys you a hot dog, you can lose your scholarship.
By the way, I've never been for any of that stuff. All that stuff is stupid. It really is about the food and all those rules. I've never understood that entirely. But if you're at Alabama and you're looking at Nick Saban's salary, you're okay because you know Nick Saban's going to take you to that next level where you want a comparable salary or maybe a better salary than what Nick Saban has.
But here's the argument. The argument is Nick Saban ain't doing jack if he doesn't have good football players, right? Nick Saban's a great coach, but if I gave him Liberty's roster right now, he's not winning the championship next year. Same with Dabo, same with Scott Frost, same with everybody.
Which championship?
Come on, Zoe, don't be pedantic with me.
No, I'm just saying.
It's 2 early in the morning.
If you give Nick Saban, if you move him to Division III, he's winning the Division III championship.
All right. If you give him Northwestern's roster, he's not winning the NCAA championship. So the point is,
you win the Big Ten.
Maybe in 7, 8, 9, 10 years.
You think it would take that long?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe in 7, 8 years, he'd win the Big Ten. And maybe that is why he get that money. But the point is, why does Emmert get $4 million a year? Saban gets 9, Dabo gets 9, Ed Orgeron gets 8. But the guys on the team can't not even get paid, can't go out and stand next to a soda cutout in front of a restaurant and make a few $100.
Well, I know this is going to be a mess. In one one, it's going to be a mess all over the place.
You ain't wrong. Let's take a break. When we come back here in just a minute from right now, Kyle Sullivan hosts a hockey podcast called Welcome to Puckburg. Fantastic podcast, talks a lot of hockey. You should pick it up on Spotify. We will hear. I got the chance to sit yesterday after the show was over and chat with him about the Tampa Bay v. New York Islanders series, the Montreal v. Las Vegas series. We'll talk to Kyle Sullivan next on the Rob Brown Show at ESPN Upstate. That interview is at the bottom.
Yeah, I got it, but it's
it should be what, 15 minutes?
Yeah. Okay.
We'll have time, and then just a real quick final. Will we have time? Real quick final segment.
I don't know. Give me a second. There's like some gaps in here that I could take out real quick. I don't know how much it will gain us, but it will gain us a little bit. I'm guessing it's just the normal delay between question and answer.
Yes.
If I would have been in where I normally am, like a normal day.
I should have done it yesterday, but I didn't get to record with him until 6, and then I had to run out of here.
Gotcha. So do you need to introduce to come back?
Nope, it's got everything contained in it.
Okay. More inside baseball. We're all getting to hear.
Keegan says that the guy sounded like every lawyer, every sitcom ever.
I'm sure he looks like it too.
God, this computer is painfully slow, and I don't know why.
Hey, sounds great.
Thank you very much. Welcome back, ladies. It's simple, straightforward.
That I trust you, but you know, it's always double check.
You heard my feelings.
All right, so this is at 14 minutes long. They're coming back. John Batiste. Who's John Batiste?
John Batiste is the guy who leads the band on Steel Bears late night show, and he is a musician from New Orleans, one of the talented composers and jazz musicians of this modern day and age.
So you're saying he's all right?
He's
And this is going to be tight.
I can hold it off.
No. It's all right. I'll make it work. But you got an exit on there too, right? So I never need to come back to you.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm being told the stream seems to work fine when we're on break, but it's glitching while we're on the show. Why would
Part of it might be your volume.
Okay.
Maybe it can't handle the sheer power of your voice.
Just raw manliness is overwhelming. 2021 technology is just not prepared for the greatness.
It may have a machismo filter on it. Not quite sure.
Hey, yo. That is a Razor Ramon Scott Hall reference, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who are unaware. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Rob Brown Show right here on ESPN Up. So much for hanging out with us today. Welcome in, guest making his Rob Brown Show debut today is the host of the Here in Puckburg Woohoo podcast, which you can hear on Spotify, talking all things hockey. I had the privilege to be on his podcast earlier in the week. He returns the favor by becoming notorious here in the upstate. Kyle Sullivan. Great to have you on the air, bud.
Hey, it is an honor to be here. Thank you for having me on, my friend.
It is, I mean, honor is a strong word, but we were just nominated in what I will continue to brag about for the rest of my life as the best sports talk show in the state of South Carolina, Kyle. So I'll take it. Print it on a t-shirt. It's done. It's official. Good to have you on, bud.
Hey, I mean, it's hard to mess with those results. I mean, it's hard to argue. So, yeah, honored to be on your show, my friend.
I love it. Little hockey big dog. And we would be, I know it's a days later, but not just the clean for the Tampa Bay Lightning in their go-ahead game, but an 8-0 blanking beatdown of the New York Islanders. I was watching that game back on Monday night. And, look, it's been a good series. It's been a back-and-forth series. You got a couple of one-goal games separating these two to get where we get. And then the Lightning just make the Islanders implode. Is that indicative of the way the Lightning are playing? Is that more of a black mark on the way the Islanders are playing? Or is that 8-0 win just an anomaly that sometimes happens?
I think, honestly, when we were talking about the Lightning, but this is a perfect scenario that we endured in that for Stamkos and Killorn to go off, both scoring twice, and absolutely taking the Islanders emotionally out of the game, physically out of the game. The referees haven't been a factor on either side of the bracket in the playoffs all year. So it was just the Tampa Bay Lightning putting on a show. I mean, you have Braden Point. He's looked incredible. In that game, he was on 8-game goal streak up to that point. And you have Nikita Kucherov just constantly feeding him. If you let Tampa Bay do what they do, and I know Carolina Hurricane fans know this, unfortunately, but they're a machine. And if they get in there and they get settled and they can do what they do, will put up scores like this, gaudy numbers. This is what Tampa Bay is meant to do. The only reason the Islanders have had a chance in the series is making the Lightning uncomfortable, making them match the Islanders' style of play. It's reminiscent to the early 2000s and late 90s New Jersey Devils teams of that slow, score a goal and hold on for the entire game and win 1-0. You can't let Tampa Bay get comfortable and start scoring like this. If we're looking forward for a positive for New York, maybe Tampa gave it all in this game and they kind of go into the next game without any gas, but Tampa is absolutely on fire right now.
So you mentioned about taking them out of their game and what they wanted to do in Game 5, and I think you saw that, right? We had the big hit, the big hit late game that looks like it's going to lead or did lead to a suspension, and certainly a massive fine's going to come down for that cross check to the face. And late, especially in the third period, it didn't even look like at one point. And I said this, I was watching the game with a lady friend, Kyle. I said it doesn't even look like they're playing for pride at this point, right? For a lot of teams, you go down 6-7-0, you start playing for pride. Don't get out, show that this was Italy and you've still got it. But the Islanders just kind of looked like they were passing the puck around to kill time. You got to wonder if that mentality carries over to tonight, Game 6, because if it does, this game's over before the puck hits the ice.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's how the Islanders do. They get out there, they get physical. If you go back and look, the ways they've been is playing ahead of them, making the way it operates of getting in the offensive zone and setting up the play in the neutral zone. They make them comfortable. They get a little bit on the edge, physical and illegal play. Islanders' advantage. Matt Barzal at the end of the game last night. Well, in that game, I mean, that was out of frustration. The Islanders, it took what they do, that physical, make you uncomfortable style of play. When you're hanging 6-7 goals on them, they can't earn that back in physical play. So that was just out of frustration. And Barzal did. He got the max amount, the $5,000 fine, avoid a suspension. But I would expect in this game, this upcoming game, I would expect New York to come out there even more physical than before, trying to assert themselves into this game early, because they can't let this happen again.
We are talking to Mr. Kyle Sullivan, a.k.a. Shaggy Von Doom on the social media. He is the host of the Here in Pittsburgh podcast, which you can hear him talking hockey on Spotify. So you mentioned this Tampa Bay team being dangerous. When they get into a goal-scoring rhythm, they're hard to stop. The only thing that makes it even tougher, Kyle, is the fact that Andrei Vasilevskiy has been very good in these playoffs. He's got a couple of L's attached to him, but I argue he is the reason that Tampa Bay got by Carolina. I mean, Carolina really didn't have a bad series, but Vasilevskiy was just golden glove in front of the net for the Lightning. He was the one in the goal for the 8-goal Game 5. I mean, we look at Las Vegas switching goalies. Carolina was switching goalies mid-series against Tampa Bay. But for the most part, Tampa's just ridden Andrei Vasilevskiy because the guy has been good. Him and Fleury for the Golden Knights. And, of course, there was the shift there in Vegas. We're going to talk about that series coming up in a minute. But up until the last game or two, it looked like either Vasilevskiy or Fleury was going to be the postseason goaltender of choice. And now I think Andrei Vasilevskiy deserves that credit by himself, Kyle.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and I think Vasilevskiy suffers from the problem that Mike Trout suffers. Just that consistent, awesome, just night in, night out, just standing on your head and being incredible, to where everybody just anticipates it and doesn't respect it anymore. That's Vasilevskiy to a T. They have all the talent in the world when it comes to the deeper. All four lines, they cycle in and out. They are potent. That third and fourth line is underrated in Tampa Bay, and it's even more of an added bonus for that team, knowing they don't worry so much if that puck does trickle through, because Vasilevskiy's got your back, and he's been absolutely incredible. I mean, Vegas, they have the 2-goalie system. Montreal is way overpaying for their 2-goalie system. In this series, the Islanders do not have the advantage of a potent 2-goalie system. Ilya Sorokin and Semyon Varlamov are not that caliber. Even together, they can't. They don't equal what Vasilevsky can do, and that is the definite tipping point in this series.
We are talking with Kyle Sullivan, the host of the Here in Puck. You can hear him on Spotify. All right, prediction for that one. Obviously, you've got a potential elimination game in Game 6 coming up later on tonight. Look, I'm riding with the Lightning, right? Pardon the terrible pun. At the end of the day, what they did to the Islanders was demoralizing. And I know in hockey, the emotion, the ability to bounce back from a punch is more valuable than maybe any other sport, except really boxing. But they demoralized New York. Vasilevsky's got to be playing the best hockey of the season. I got to take Tampa Bay to finish this thing off tonight, right?
Well, in the words of Lee Corso, not so fast, my friend. This game is going back to Nassau Coliseum for what could be the last game at Nassau Coliseum, because the Islanders are moving to complex next season. And you can ask anybody right now, Nassau is probably the best barn in hockey. An elimination game, a way to respond from being embarrassed in this last game. I know I mentioned earlier that the Islanders need to come out physical. With the fans behind them, I anticipate this being forced to a Game 7. I think the Islanders are going to come out and try and make up for everything they lost in that. And I think they're going to come out very, very strong in this elimination game tonight.
All right. Kyle Sullivan, host of the Here in Puckburg podcast, joining us here on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Up 97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM in Spartanburg. Here's where I want to talk about the Montreal v. Vegas series, but unfortunate about it is that the officiating, for those of you who are tuning in, Kyle and I are recording this podcast on Tuesday night. So by the time that we air this on Wednesday, game number 5 will be in the books. But going into game 5, and we'll see if we are fortuitous in this, the officiating seemed to be for game number 4, and it really has been this whole series long. I went back and I was watching back in game number 4, and we had the cross-check that a lot of people were very upset, said the officials let the game get out of hand. That tension's been building. I think this sport's really difficult to officiate and make people happy, Kyle, because it's a sport that is built on hits. It is built on violence, and balancing that with gentleman's play is very difficult to do. Is it acceptable, Kyle, to you? Is it right that we have spent more time in the last 3 or 4 days talking about the officiating in the Canadiens v. Golden Knights series, or is that being hockey? Has it gotten out of control, like complaining that?
Well, it's evidence within itself that everybody can watch this series knowing the head referee's name. Everybody's talking about Chris Lee and his inability to make calls on the ice, which is understandable. But when you're looking at this on paper, Vegas all year long has been known as that extremely tough, extremely physical team. They have Ryan Reeves back there that goes the extra mile to force his physical play and dominance and get in your head a little bit. And Montreal is a team built of just bulldogs. They are scrappy. They don't quit. They take a bite and they won't let go. And I would not want to be a referee in this game, because if you call one here, you're going to be calling it all night long. The referees are also suffering the problem of not calling anything at all. And now it's starting to get away from, a little bit out of control. Corey Perry's face is evidence of that. And if you can't call anything after a player is bleeding on the ice, that's a problem. And going forward, this is going to be a problem. And you don't want two teams police themselves, because they are built of just people that will take it the extra mile to enforce that physical play to police themselves.
Kyle Sullivan is the host of the Here in Puckburg podcast, joining us here on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate. All right, I know we got a couple of games left. By the next time we talk, we will either know that Tampa is in or we're going to a game 7. Obviously, we'll be one step closer on the other as well. But if I'm putting you down right now, Kyle Sullivan, give me the 2 teams that are making it to your Stanley Cup Finals.
It's hard. I'm going the underdogs in both series. I feel like the Islanders and the Canadians are going to be your 2021 Stanley Cup.
All right, you got it, Kyle Von Doom, or Kyle Sullivan, a.k.a. Shaggy Von Doom. Kyle Von Doom's a solid bad guy name, is all I'm saying, Kyle.
I jotted down right now.
Love it, love it. You can follow him on Twitter at Shaggy Von Doom. You can also go to Spotify, find the Ear in Puckbird podcast. I had the good fortune to be allowed on as earlier this week. You can go back and listen to that and hear Kyle talk hockey all the way up to the Stanley Cup. Kyle, my man, we'll get you back on as we get a little closer to the finals. I appreciate it, fella.
Hey, sounds great.
Thank you very much. That is Kyle Sullivan and ESPN Upstate. We're right back after this. Perfect.
For the stream.
Money.
Odyssey station. Golfers, the best upstate deal on golf is back and on sale now. The 2021 Upstate Golf Card gets you a round of golf at 9 premier upstate courses.
Here's a lesson, kids. Basic math, like learning how to add seconds to time and minutes and things like that. They will tell you, I mean, you'll think you're never really going to have to use it, but in radio, you really have to use it. Golf card in the next break, by the way. So I didn't have you in the stream when you gave the keyword. So I mean,
Cloud. It's cloud.
yeah.
If you're on the stream and you want to text into 72881, the keyword is cloud. CLE. And texting our text line with cloud.
They do.
I don't know how to stop that.
But you don't know if it's over here.
that's
It could
true.
be,
It could be
I mean,
other stations.
it's probably a combination of both stations. It's muscle memory. It's just habit. It's also a way to not win $1,000. But you know.
It's the best way.
All right. So the intro is a lot.
Perfect. Like a glove.
All right. So it's a piggyback 60. I mean, so there's actually more spot within the stick. I didn't realize it was a piggyback.
All good.
Oh, that's right.
I'm not in a hurry.
Loki episode 3 is out today.
Ooh, that is right.
No, what I'm doing when I go home. Eventually, when I get to go home. Pizza night and Loki. I mean, you know.
And away we go, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. The big show back on the radio. This is ESPN Upstate, South Carolina. Great to be back with you for our numero dos. I am Rob Brown, the great one Lonzo. Across the both physical and metaphorical glass right here in front of me, as we continue to bring you award-nominated, soon-to-be, question mark, fingers crossed, knock on wood, award-winning sports talk radio around the upstate of South Carolina.
I'm trying to tell you how this works. We've won. It's whether we got first or second place. And I know that second place is first loser. I get that. But we won. Being on that list at the South Carolina Broadcasters Association means you've already. I know you're not physically holding the trophy.
Name me any silver medalists from the last Olympics.
I can't.
Any sport.
I can't really name you any of the gold medalists, right? I mean, because it's
not the point.
It's a few years ago. So,
Listen, I will be. If it's a second place trophy, it's still sitting on the.
It's
the cabinet
still,
in there.
the second place. I've got a couple of those too, and they look pretty. They really do. You know why? Because there's however many other shows in the entire state of South Carolina. They ain't got that.
True. I still want the big one.
Oh, me too.
Still want the big one.
Oh, that's the plan.
Yeah. Still want the big
one.
But
I just want you to know that we've already won something. When you go somewhere home holding trophies, you've won.
So here's an interesting thing that I had no idea when I woke up this morning. I was going to have a deep dive into science. I mean, I love the science. I do. I love the science. Because theoretically, your doesn't matter, right? So yesterday, I'm driving home from the radio station, and after we get off the air, I'm listening to Offsides with Mark Ryan and Diesel, and they launched a topic regarding a New York Times article that has popped up. In this New York Times article that popped up, was a writer for the New York Times who says that she went looking through a lawsuit that was filed against Subway that she claims, and let me be clear here, she claims, because I'm going to correct her in a minute, people out in Subway restaurants because there was no tuna in their tuna. So what this young lady decided to do was to go to multiple Subways in the Los Angeles area, order 60 total inches of tuna fish sandwiches from across a number of different Subway restaurants, and send that tuna meat to a laboratory to be checked to find out if it was actual tuna. Now, I'm not going to get into all the abstract and the motivation and all that, all right? But I bring this up, Zoe, and I'm going to be preachy. I important your sources and what. So the lady goes. It's a bunch. She sends them results come and say, we did not find, after testing for tuna DNA within this meat that you sent us, we did not find any tuna DNA in the tuna. And it started, Lonzo, an absolute firestorm on Twitter. People absolutely dunking on Subway, taking Subway to task. You're selling us meat substitute and tuna. And I thought, there's got to be something, yeah? There's got to be something more to this. So I went looking, because I was like, this just can't be a thing, man. It can't be. But I'm happy to do the work to verify, so I went looking. When a tuna caught. Yeah, we're going fishing strategy here too, Zoe. You didn't know this was Canadian.
Well, I know where you used to live, so you probably actually understand fishing strategy.
Very true. This is very true. And I will acknowledge that there is a problem in this country with seafood distribution, and that very frequently certain types of fish, red snapper, grouper, etc., are often sold as that type of fish, but substituted by cheaper fish, because the vast majority of people don't know the difference. If I brought you a grouper sandwich today, Zoe, and a, I don't know, triggerfish sandwich, could you difference between the two? Probably not.
I believe I've had grouper before. I don't believe I've had triggerfish.
Sure. Triggerfish, delicious.
Is it?
Oh,
Is it? Okay.
Delicious.
So you could tell the difference. You're right. I probably could.
I also lived on the beach and literally have caught hundreds of snapper and triggerfish over my lifetime. I've grown up with it. But in this country, yes, there is a problem with seafood distribution companies, seafood and selling it. So this is really stupid, but it is something that's mattered to me. When a tuna company goes tuna fishing, there are two predominant ways that they catch they either long line the fish or they purse net the fish. Purse nets is basically, think of what you think of when you think of, you know what a cast net is? You throw the net, it goes in a big circle, weights on the outside that swing close, and they create kind of a net bubble. That is purse netting.
That thing that dolphins get caught in.
Yes, to some degree, but like a giant.
No, but I know what you're saying.
And it'll either go up where the top will be open, and this is what more sustainable do. They close the top so the dolphin can get out with the tuna can, or to close in the bottom. That's the kind that ordinarily catches the dolphin too, or the porpoise, because dolphin is actually a fish.
I'm throwing that in there because there was a long time of dolphins getting mixed in with the tuna. And,
absolutely. So the other kind is called long lining. Long is where you take a long line, sometimes up to miles long. It's baited with hundreds or thousands of hooks. You lead it out behind the boat. You leave it down for an hour. You reel the whole line in, and you got 100,000 fish hooked on hooks. And all right. Anyway, regardless of how you get the tuna on the boat, once the tuna's on the boat, that tuna is immediately processed with a very preliminary process, but it's processed immediately. Then it's frozen on the boat. Once that meat is gotten to shore, it is then sent to a distribution facility where they do one of two things. They either cut it up into steaks the finest tuna, the bluefin, the high color. When you go get sushi, you see and you order tuna, it's really red, really bright colors. That's the high grade sushi. But the rest of the tuna that is pale in color, lighter in color, or not from a sushi species is sent to a cannery. And that cannery will cook the tuna 3 times before it is put into a can for distribution. They'll cook it once, then they get it. Then they process it through. It is cooked a second time before it's put into the can. And then after it's put into the can, it's actually cooked a 3rd time. So the tuna that you get when you get your Starkist or you get your Subway sandwich, that tuna has been cooked at least 3, sometimes 4 times.
I had no idea that the tuna was ever cooked once, but cooked 3 times.
Now,
okay.
it's not cooked the way we think of like a steak. It's typically just kind of seared on the outside and left raw, but they have to do this multiple times. The last time they do it, once it's in the can, just to sterilize the tuna for anything it may have picked up during the canning process. And that's why the tuna you get in a can is like gray when the tuna you get in sushi is a bright red, right? It has been cooked multiple times. Well, in this New York Times article, and this is why I tell people, you read the headline, read the friggin' article, all right? Read the friggin' article. The lab results that this New York Times reporter threw in there was that, quote, according to the lab, quote, no amplifiable tuna DNA was present in the sample, and so we obtained no amplification products from the DNA. Therefore, we cannot identify the species. That's the paragraph everybody's running with on social media, right? Here's the very next paragraph in the article, quote, the spokesperson from the lab offered a bit of analysis. There's 2 conclusions. One, it's so heavily processed that whatever we could pull out, we couldn't make an identification, or we got some and there's just nothing there that's tuna, end quote. So the lab itself said, hey, look, this meat can be so processed that the DNA itself becomes denatured. Denatured is when DNA, which is in every living organism, we all have DNA. It's a result of the evolutionary process. We all have DNA. Every cell you have is constructed by the instructions encoded in your DNA. But DNA can be destroyed. One of the ways to destroy it, to denature it, is by processing, cooking meat. It destroys the DNA within cells. So, in the 3, perhaps 4 times that the tuna is processed from the time it's brought on the boat, from the time it's processed to bring to the cannery, and 2, maybe 3 times processed in the cannery, that DNA becomes denatured. All of the fish are destroyed. They're not fish anymore, right? It says that right there in the article. Also in the article, the woman that, for the record, is a journalist, made 2 other points. The lawsuit that kicked all of this investigation off, Lonzo, that everybody, it was a lawsuit, 2 Californians sued Subway because there's no tuna. That's not what the lawsuit was. The lawsuit was that the tuna that Subway is using is not from sustainable fishing practices. Unsustainable fishing, fish that are too big or too small to set. With the tuna that Subway uses and did send back tuna DNA results, it was tuna. So they've already proven this article. She knew that this article was wrong before she published the article. She knew what she was saying was likely wrong. And in the article itself, she says, here's the reason test positive for tuna, positive. At the end of the day, not only does she know that it has come back for tuna in the past, but she knew exactly why it would not come back as tuna, explained why it would not come back as tuna in the freaking article, and then had the stones to misrepresent the lawsuit in the initial part of her essay, but then later on would go back and explain, well, it's not actually, they're saying it's not tuna, they're saying it's not sustainable tuna. The point of all of this, Lonzo, something that I'm getting irrationally angry at right now, the point of all of this is that if you just read Julia Carmel's article, she debunks her own damn argument in her own damn article.
Yeah, but see, here's the problem. Just like when some people listen to a radio show, especially talk radio, and they think they hear something because they're not intently and listening to everything, people they want to see.
Dude.
Because they want to outrage something. And the other question is, who goes to Subway and buys tuna?
A lot of people do.
Really? Because I have
It
never went to Subway.
It is their number one selling sandwich.
I eat Subway Monday through Friday, at least 1 6-inch sub. That's part of my lunch. And I've never, ever thought about going, you know what, let me get some tuna. Not from Subway.
It's their number one selling sandwich.
I'm sure it's
according to Subway.
I'm sure it's delicious. It just is never.
I love tuna. I eat tuna all the time.
Yeah.
I love tuna. Tuna's delicious. Here I'm making, ladies and gentlemen. This article yesterday caught fire on Twitter, and everybody had a take. Everybody. Subway's gross. Subway's this is dumb. Why are we talking? Everybody had a take. Very few people actually read. This woman, Julia Carmel, literally debunked her own crap in the article she wrote about the crap. And all you had to do was read the article, and she literally debunks her own garbage in her garbage. It's right there. You are from the article that we are talking. Here's why it would fail the test. And this is what happened. But did it? Yes, Julia. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. For you, I beg you. And you see a headline. The majority of people popping out headlines on that are doing what? They are trying to enrage you with a headline. They want you to sparkle without reading it. So the second thing I need is read the article, because this is not the first time I have seen with a garbage clicked article, but to spread their crap and get their 3 seconds. Take 3. She does it.
Button to push. This is the most animated I've seen you after the geese about poor writing. I thought it was about tuna, but it's actually about poor writing and the fact that people will spread headlines without actually reading the article. And half the time when you click on these articles, what the topic is in the title, it's nowhere in the meat of the story.
In the meat. The first thing, more than anything else, the first thing that enrages me when people spread myth truths as gospel in order to get people won over to a cause that has no point. And this is that. Number 2, misleading, right? Because I consider what she wrote here, I consider it a lie in which she told you the truth in the article, but she knows 90% of people aren't going to read what the truth is in her article. They're just going to read the headline, get all uppity, and spread her name around the internet. She gets notoriety.
It's going with the social media and what's considered popular. If it's popular to go after Subway, then a lot of people are going to go see. Yep. And then if you question them about whether they actually read it or know anything about it, they will change the subject or move on.
Read the article. Just read it. And even if you read it and come to the conclusion that whatever, That's fine, but read it. The science of why her statement is wrong is in her own damn article. Let's take a break. Doug Irwin, the CBO of the Greenville Triumph, joins us in the next segment on the Rob Brown Show. This is ESPN Upstate.
Golf cart. It's a tricky button. I downloaded Dark Alliance, started to play it, and was going to wait. I'm going to wait on Cameron to play it, but the first minute just getting through the hub is
Horrible.
to the point where I almost don't want to get into the meat of the game.
Like tough to beat horrible? Or
No, like for a brand new game. And the thing is, when you back up a character, you almost think they're going to turn around.
Yeah.
It just backs up. And it's like, okay, I mean, you're not strafing. Why are you backing up? I mean, okay.
So is this a third-person game?
It is.
Okay.
And with some famous Dungeons and Dragons characters,
Okay.
at least Dritz from very famous from, I think is it R.A. Salvatore? I forget who the author is, but he's been in a ton of stuff. The main character is, and that's the selling point.
He is texting me asking if we are. So I'm going to go ahead and dial him up.
Hey, Doug, this is Rob Brown Show. I'm good. How are you? All right, we have about a minute left in this break. Yep. So I'm not sure. But, my stomach was growling so loud that I could hear it. And I'm curious if it actually made it on the stream.
I did not hear it.
So you know what I'm doing during the interview?
Eating Doritos.
Well, yeah. They're made out of corn, Could be wrong with that. Although we here who all he ate was Doritos. I'd be like, dude, you don't eat anything. Well, I'm kind of a vegetarian. It's like, okay, but there's can eat other than Doritos. I mean, I don't know how they're processed, but I'm guessing they wouldn't.
Not great.
Yeah,
Sometimes when you hold a lighter to a Dorito?
No.
It goes up in
No, actually, it's the dust. Yeah, I've seen that before. Yeah. Then we went and tested the Impossible Whopper, and then afterwards, it's like we're talking. It's like, dude, you know that they made that on the same grill that they made the meat. Then he immediately got sick. So it's suggestion, you know. Then we got back to the studio, and Patrick and I both got sick too. So,
crap.
Yes. Oh, we're back.
Every Wednesday, we talk a little Greenville Triumph football, and today, no different. To the phone line we go to welcome in a young man I've had the pleasure of calling a friend off the air and a friend on it. He's the CBO of the Greenville Triumph, my man, Dougie Fresh. Doug Irwin joins us here on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. Doug, what's up, big dog?
How's it going, man? Do you need to check me for illegal substances before we start this interview? I just want to make sure.
As long as you don't pull a Romo and start taking your pants off, then I think we're probably cool.
Fair enough.
We are. I don't know how much baseball you watched in the last 2 days at night, Doug, but watching pitchers, and I understand why. I get it. Scherzer, Sergio, I understand it. But watching pitchers throw tantrums coming off the hill has been hilarious.
It's been fantastic. I'm a devout Nats fan, so I enjoyed the proceedings of last night. Probably a little more than I should have, but it's a clown show, and I'm sure it won't go long before they have to revise the policy or something.
I am not going to be shocked at all if it happens in the next month or two. To tell you the truth, Doug Irwin from the Greenville Triumph joining us here on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. I want to talk a little bit about the Triumph, Doug, obviously, but before we do that, we had Chris Lewis on a couple of weeks ago, right after the announcement that Greenville will have one of the initial teams in the USL League W, so some professional women's soccer coming here to the Upstate. Can you give us, I am crazy excited about it, and to see them playing under Triumph banner, I think is absolutely fantastic. Can you, because obviously you and your pops had maybe the heaviest hand in getting one of these teams here in the Ville. Can you give us a little backstory about how this came about, what conversations you guys had to make sure that Greenville was a part of this movement?
Yeah, Rob. So for us, it was since we started and really announced the team in early in the way, about waiting for the right opportunity to come up, and there are a couple other competing leagues that have fielded women's soccer teams for a handful of years that are regionally based. There are teams in Asheville, teams in Rock Hill, teams in Charlotte playing in a couple of these leagues, and we looked at the various opportunities, but didn't feel found the right home yet. So. And obviously, with getting the Triumph started, we got a little bit busy the first couple of years, and then the pandemic last year delaying things a bit. But it was something in our mind that we kept talking about, and just said, "Hey, we're waiting for the right time to make this work." And given that we're already housed under the USL League's banner, the men's team, once we knew that they were going to announce a women's league, we thought, "Oh, here's the opportunity." So it was just working with the league, but we were emphatically said, hey, when you guys launch this league, we want to be one of the initial teams that gets announced.
Doug Irwin, CBO with the Greenville Triumph, the Robin Show, and let's flip over to the men's side. And obviously, you guys had an interesting last couple of weeks, not just as a side, not just the players and Coach Harks, but from the administrative perspective. I mean, what a run of a schedule. You get Dallas J flying around the world. Then he meets you back in Texas for a unfortunate loss. Then you come back, end up with 4 games in 11 days, I think, including the last 3 in a week, a Wednesday, Saturday, Wednesday. and the middle game a road game. So not only did you have 3 and 7, but you had to have a couple of travel days there and back in the middle of that. I was talking to a fellow fan yesterday, and I said, there's got to be some toll that gets in on the team when you have that busy of a schedule with an away trip wedged in the middle. What has the last 2 weeks been like around the office and around the field?
I would say we feel similar feelings to the players. It's exhausting, especially with the midweek games. For us, they're a challenge, and afterwards, normally on a Friday, we get to enjoy a little bit of a weekend in the front office, and the players get to enjoy off and recovery. But, you're focusing 2 matches ahead, basically, and you get done and there's no downtime. You're on to the next one. So I understand what the players are feeling, and it's exhausting. We're glad that we were able to mix of those five games in how many days, 15, 16 days. Glad that there's some home games in there. So you're not just going plane to plane to plane. You get to come back home, and I don't think it's a coincidence that we struggled on the road so far in this. We're just trying to keep upright, and injuries have come at a really tough time for us. But I know the guys are already looking ahead and past Saturday in Chattanooga so that they can get a full week's rest afterwards.
So you mentioned the road game. You had the tough 3-0 loss at North Texas, and we had the last loss on the road this past weekend. Doug, look, man, I you guys, and obviously I'm doing all I can to be a part of it, but I've also got to be honest, the team just looks sluggish a little bit in those 2 losses. I understood Dallas with the flight around play in the international friendlies and make it back. Is that sluggishness, do you think it's just caused by having such a schedule? I mean, you guys had basically 4 weeks of matches jammed into 11 days. Is that a direct result of that, do you think?
Yeah, I think that's got to be a factor. Again, you're really not getting, even sometimes just one day for the guys to recover is huge, be it a Sunday or a Monday after a weekend into a match the next weekend. But, you get done, for example, this weekend, the guys are going to play tonight, and then they'll probably have recovery tomorrow, and then Friday you hit the road to Chattanooga to get down there for a Saturday game. So that adds up quick. And like I mentioned, given the injury bug, Clark said yesterday that 7 of our 11 starters have missed games with injuries already this season, which is it's probably the worst injury bug we've been hit with in our 2.5 seasons so far. So, getting guys healthy and just keeping the guys healthy right now is a challenge in the middle of the stretch.
Doug Irwin, CBO for the Greenville Triumph, joining us here on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate. So obviously we're back Ford Madison tonight. Legacy Early College, 7 o'clock this evening will be kick of that game. What has John Hark's been doing? What is he doing? I mean, obviously, that the last season rooted in getting used to getting W's, etc. I'm sure that there is an air of frustration going 2-2-1 through the last 5. What's the mentality around the club, around the organization to get the heads right and get the pace back into rhythm now that the schedule is going to, after tonight, kind of start to plane back into more of a traditional regular schedule?
Yeah, I think John, not that he'll write off a list, but, I found it interesting that losing last Saturday, all 3 of the goals we conceded were on set pieces, which, he was quick to point out no goals given up in the run of play. So that's important and shows that if, tactical things in practice, which are a little easier to fix your positioning and marking your man on defense, I think he felt confident about our performance, and we're ready to focus on Madison tonight and then Chattanooga on Saturday. I think the good thing about getting a loss with a short turnaround is he hasn't had too much time to dwell on it. I came in yesterday and they were reviewing film for Madison, getting ready for tonight, and we've got a good thing going. Let's knock on all the wood, but we've not allowed a goal to Madison through 2 seasons so far. Now in our 3rd season, so hoping we can keep that
Doug Irwin joining us here in the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate every Wednesday at 1:20-ish. We talk a little Greenville Triumph football, doing the same today. Doug, as far as, we've been having the conversation about getting back to normal, and it's starting to feel that way. Why playoffs, and you got 20,000 strong coming out to games, watching MLB games. I think we both made it over to a game in the last couple of weeks. I went to the Hawks game 4 against Philly. Went to a Braves Phillies game a couple of weeks back. The stadiums are full. It feels like things are getting back to normal. But when I talk to folks that are in administrative staffs of different sports outfits at different levels across the country, a lot of them are saying there still is an air of caution. They want full stands. The games are better when the stands are full. Players feel the difference when the stands are full. But there is still some caution that is being out as a front office. How have you guys been addressing the return to normalcy over the past few, especially when considering how to set up home matches?
Well, we've had the benefit, Rob, of being outside for one. That makes things a little easier than, teams playing. It was about, let's make sure we do something that feels comfortable to us and hopefully comfortable to the fans too, where we're not and going back to 100%. We've been inching up, and really we've been inching our capacity up since last August. When we first got fans back, I think that 1,000 people that we were allowed in, and we started this season at 50%. Now we're up to 70%, which is about 2,800 or so for us. And we know that a lot of people are antsy about wanting to get 4,000 people in the stands, and so are we. Obviously, for our business model, that's important, but we do want to do it responsibly. And we're still keeping safety measures around the stadium, hand sanitizer stations, spraying the seats down, doing as much as we can, and knowing that people are all handling this a little differently than others. So we're trying to do what we can to create a safe environment, but we're looking forward to hopefully getting back to full capacity or near full capacity when we come back after tonight, which is July 10th. So we know that we've got one of, if not the best home field advantages in the league, and we're looking forward to taking advantage of that in the near future.
Doug Irwin, the CBO for the Greenville Triumph. All right, a couple more questions for you, Doug, and then we'll cut you loose. I'm going to start with this, and we'll move away to the Triumph, more to the USL side. And I don't even know if you have a thought on this yet, but this story stuck out to me when it was announced earlier this week that MLS is looking at creating their own minor league, and in doing so, they would pull all of the affiliated MLS teams out of USL Champions League and out of USL League One. I personally, when I read it, thought it was a horrible idea. I think MLS would be better served to invest and partner with the USL, let what has been built within this league already grow. I think you're going to spread a player fan base or player base out too thin if you start moving guys over. Has there been any discussion about what this would mean for Greenville to USL League One and the Champions League within y'all's office?
Sure. It's that or at least I've known about that was coming for a little while now. So it wasn't a surprise when we saw the news. I'm with you. I'm not sure of what the game is. It seems a little peculiar. I get wanting to be able to consolidate things and have a true kind of reserve league that is still professional, but that is mostly made up of MLS teams. But one of the things I think is so great about USL, both at the championship and at our level at League One, and even down to the amateur level, is the team's branding and the connections the teams and clubs have with their communities. And that's one of the challenges the MLS2 teams, their reserve sides have faced, regardless of what other league they're in, is a lot of them aren't geared at getting a bunch of fans. They're literally named MLS Team 2. Some have separate branding, but we played Orlando City B We played Toronto FC2, etc. And I think that it's going to be a league that is truly about player development. And maybe they're able to say if they go to a model that isn't as dependent on fans. But, you know, for communities like Green Bay and some of the cities we play, like Chattanooga and Statesboro, Georgia, you know, having that connection and having those fans is really important. And it's part of creating a great experience. And we pride ourselves as a team, and I know the league does, on creating this connection to the communities, soccer fans, and just people who are in those communities in general. So I think it's a little bit of a bump in the road potentially for us, but ultimately, if that leads to a league that's full of more independent teams, I think that's a positive for the USL.
Doug, last question before we cut you loose, because I know you guys got a lot going on with match day coming up, but it's a very important one, and one last week, and you're as good a guy as any to give it. When you go out for hot dog, Doug Irwin, you just ask for a hot dog. What do you expect to come on it?
Oof. I expect it to be plain so I can put whatever the hell I want on it, right, Rob? Come on.
Right. But what I have learned, Doug, and now you are burdened with this knowledge as well, is that I have found in the great state of South Carolina, the expectation is that I order a hot dog, it comes with chili, onion, and mustard. That's a hot dog in South Carolina. Where I'm from, we call that chili dog. But here, Doug, apparently that's the default, and my brain is struggling to accept that.
Well, that does seem to be kind of standard fare on the upstate. Now, I know I'm risking some potential ticket sales to our match tonight by saying this, but I am a ketchup on hot dog guy. So take the shots at me for that. I know a lot of people are anti-ketchup on hot dogs, but you know, when you're at a place like Skins around the upstate or something where you can put away 4 or 5 of those chili dogs, if it comes on it with chili, onions, mustard, man, you just got to lean in.
Oh, I'm a chili dog guy, but where I'm from, it's a chili dog. You have to ask for a chili dog. Around here, if you don't want chili, you have to ask for a hot dog without chili. It just seems like too much work. Doug Irwin is the CBO of Triumph. They play this evening, Ford Madison, 7 o'clock at Legacy Early College. I will be in attendance. I'm pretty sure Doug will be there too. I'll see you at the match, fella.
Sounds good. And hey, we got hot dogs with whatever you want on them at the game. So if you're coming out tonight, you can make toppings, buddy.
Look at him. For the people. Doug Irwin, Greenville Triumph. Thank you very much for joining us, fellas. Let's take a break. We're back after this to get back on the clock. The Rob Brown Show rolls on. It's ESPN Upstate. It's faster on your computer than it does on mine, even though I'm the one running it, and I don't understand that.
I'm just trying to figure out why you put me on here by myself.
Well, I guess I could just leave my chair up here.
Yeah, I mean,
Now that we have a beautiful back.
yeah, we do. We absolutely do. So Doug brought up something that he said he puts ketchup on his hot pie, and that was weird. Is that weird? It's not weird. Ketchup is a wonderful product. So I don't think it's, I mean, you know, if you want to put mustard on your hot dog, that's, if you're a person, I'm fine with that. If you want to put ketchup and mustard, I'm good with that too.
I know we've talked about what's your favorite flavor of these.
Peach right now.
Go to Walmart later. Just get a couple of cases of them to put under the desk so we don't have to rotate through. I'll grab you a case of peach. If the Walmart I go to has them.
1 minute. Apparently, the new Candyman trailer is out. Trying to remember the last time I actually went to the movies to see a horror movie.
I don't do
before. It's been a while. Actually,
theaters, dude, they jack up the volume on the jump scares so loud.
I still haven't
been
back to theater yet. I got to make a decision on Black Widow because it's also I can also buy it at home and
I feel bad breaking my Marvel streak. I've seen every Marvel movie in the theater. I feel bad breaking the streak.
Yeah, me too. That's a good point.
As long as they keep pumping out good movies. The Ron Brown. First time today. I made it an hour and 46 minutes this time.
Yeah, that wasn't bad. Was not bad.
The Rob Brown Show rolls on. It's ESPN Upstate. Give me, if you don't mind, I'm going to play a well, no, I'm only going to put a clip here. Actually, I'll hold on to him. Let's do this. God, I did such weird time. I could do like a 2-second segment here and go to another break. You know what? Screw it. Let's just do the clips. Give me clip number 15, if you don't mind, Lonzo. We have been keeping an eye on umpires checking pitchers. Yesterday, we had what I think is going to be, if there is a downfall to this, it's what happened yesterday to Max Scherzer in a game against the Phillies when this happened mid-inning.
They're going to check Max here in the middle of an inning?
Oh, anything to try to throw somebody off their game, and Davey rightfully coming out to protect his guy to see what's going on here.
Hey, what did they expect? Matt drops his hat, and Carlos Torres is going to get mad at him? This is in the middle of an inning after you struck a guy out. And it was initiated by the other manager. If I'm Davey, I'm not standing for this at all. And now Girardi's going to come out and become a bigger part of it.
Well, I love how Davey's coming out to protect his guy here. Girardi's trying to find anything to get Max off his game, but honestly, I think it's only going to fire him up more and going to make him better.
Max Scherzer was dealing, so Joe Girardi, Phillies manager, calls for an inspection mid-inning right after he gets another catch.
Wow. So I didn't realize that managers had that.
Make the call.
So this becomes strategy. This changes the entire thing.
Not a fan.
Oh, I'm not a fan either, but it definitely changed. But if you're given that, do you not do it?
Yeah.
I mean, you have to.
It's gamesmanship, right? It's in the rules. You can do it. That's going to have to change. After that, check out Clementine if you don't mind. Here's what happened on the field as called by the play-by-play guys on ESPN. Here's what happened next.
Not sure if he's gazing at the umpire or all the way over to the Phillies dugout. But watch what he does when he gets into the Nationals dugout. Joe Girardi up to the top step to have his look over the other way. And I think what Max was doing, Girardi's hot.
Well, you know he was staring right at him.
He's daring Max to come on over and get into it. Now Max says, look, hey, I'm clean. Look at me, my hands, my ball cap, I'm clean.
He's like, here, you can have it. You can check for yourself.
Scherzer stares down Girardi. Girardi comes out of the dugout. The manager comes out of the dugout and starts challenging Scherzer to come over. Now, I'm not saying he was calling for a fight, but I don't see why else you come out of the dugout and start pointing and going, come on, come over here, come over here. I don't see this is not going to work. It's not going to work for anybody.
Is this exactly what Major League Baseball wanted, though? Look at all the attention
we're talking about it.
Look at all the attention they're getting. Now, maybe there's some people, some fringe people who wouldn't normally watch a game who might turn on a game, like myself, who might turn on a game just for the potential for the chaos.
We're talking about it. Scherzer's dealing another K. Girardi calls for an inspection. Scherzer finishes the inning, walking to the hill, gets the check, is staring Girardi down. Girardi comes out of the dugout, challenges him to a fight. Scherzer's got words for him. It was chaos. It was pandemonium. And it was like surreal to watch. Take a break. When we come back, we'll finish up some thoughts on that, give you your keyword for the $1,000 cash stash in the 2 o'clock hour. That's next. Rob Lonzo, it's ESPN Upstate. Spain has dropped a Cinco spot on Slovakia. Painful.
So this is what you call a major blowout, right?
Yes, that's a 45-0 win in football. Poland has got an equalizing goal in stoppage time, but they have to score one more to move on. So they're going to pull their keeper and throw everything they have at Sweden. This is dicey. Sweden with possession up at the top of the box. Nice little cross. Shot's going to go in, but be over the net. So Poland's going to have about 2.5 minutes to orchestrate and try to find a finisher. They've got to win to move on. Ball's easily picked off by Sweden, so they'll bring back the other way. Goalkeeper retreats back to his line. Sweden will be happy just to play keep away here. They move on with a win, but they kick the ball out of bounds for a goal kick. Time ticking away, 5 minutes in stoppage time added, 92:45 showing on the clock right now. So Poland's going to have about 2 minutes once they open it. They gave position back. Guys, you got to hold possession. There's a nice little cross inside the box. Sweden may not be done. They're looking for one more, and they've got an opportunity, and it's in net. That's going to do it. Poland eliminated as Sweden gets their third goal. That was the most unenthusiastic play-by-play I've ever done.
I was because I'm having a discussion with Diesel on Twitter. His question was something about the worst 80s hair band. And now I have Children Cry stuck. And I'm lamenting the fact that these walls, so I can't really do a whole lot of damage to my head when I ram it through the wall. I got to say, I went out and bought that album.
My submission is going to be very controversial, but mine is Winger.
How dare you?
I know.
How dare you?
I know. It's wildly controversial. The guys in my band are angry at me for that take. I just never.
I will say that the Purple Haze cover, not that good.
No.
But not that bad either. And Headed for a Heartbreak, the best song on that entire album.
If you're going to cover a song as great as Purple Rain, you would
Purple
better
Haze.
come up with, Purple Haze.
Yeah.
You would better come up with a way to make it good.
As to either song. If you had to cover a song between Purple Rain and Purple Haze, I suggest Purple Haze, leave Purple Rain alone.
Purple Rain recorded the way the song is supposed to be.
Yes.
There's no upgrades available.
I know someone down the hall would disagree, Mr. Cover.
Oh, we got a lot of people who are wrong about a lot of things in this building.
Well, no, Chris just loves covers, and I don't
hate covers.
I mean, I'm okay with, and of course you don't hate covers, but I mean, there are some times when it's so bad, Does the band not know that it's that bad? And they're recording the song, and his producer in there going, "Yeah, man, you guys are rocking." And the whole time he's going, "Oh God, these guys suck."
The musician's version of an athlete being surrounded by a guy who can tell them anything, so they never actually have to be challenged.
Anytime I've been in the studio, the producer always tells me, "That's not good."
Yeah.
I'd rather hear that.
Oh, I would.
Yeah.
Like if I do a crap segment, I would rather you go do not your best work and be like, great job. Something that's not my best work, great job.
And I went to recording school. We were recording bands the very first day at school, and some of them were not good. Some of our student projects were better than the bands they were bringing in, but it was a good deal for those bands because they would just come in and get their projects recorded for free by the students. I mean, it was an awesome deal for them. 1 minute.
I'm going to end up having to type out a whole article about tuna later, and I'm not excited about it.
Are you
going to have to?
Are you going to angry type? Because I'm going to be in there for a while. So
yeah,
who gets more angry? Oh, I hate these spots. They're just not tight enough. It drives me crazy. Although, should I be offended that Diesel's dad still has that album on vinyl? That just points out how old I am, that his dad has that album on vinyl. But anyway, I'm not old enough to be his dad, am I? How old is he?
Yes.
Am I?
He's my age.
Which is what?
You would be a young father, but
36?
35, 36.
35, okay. I remember when he was young, when he first came.
Diesel?
Yeah.
Oh.
He's been here a long time, too. People don't realize that.
I know he's been here for a while. No, Keegan, I have not heard it, but I saw you tweet it out earlier, and I'm going to listen to it when we get off the air. Miley Cyrus teamed with, who else was in it? I forgot. But to cover Metallica, and I've heard it's pretty solid. Wrapping up the second hour of the show. I do not have time for the final clip from Max. So I'll tell you what, we're going to push the Scherzer-Girardi confrontation to the start of the next hour because you guys are absolutely going to want to hear the clips from both Girardi and Scherzer on the response to that. Also coming up in the third hour, the NBA last night had a fantastic game between the Suns and the Clippers that ended up, I don't know, man. Like it was, depending on your perspective, it was or a thoroughly aggravating finish. So the last 39 seconds of that game took like 30 minutes real time to play between replays and fouls and fits to play.
Last night was family night, so I didn't get a chance to watch, and I'm disappointed that I didn't get to watch until I saw that would have ticked me off, having to wait that long to no.
It was to me, it was all compelling. It was all compelling. We had crazy replay, had foul rulings that had to go to replay, and Van Gundy's jumping in there and giving third this and that. It was compelling to me, but I find my entertainment in the makeup of the sport, a winner or a loser. I see how a lot of people did, and we're going to talk about that as well. But before we get there, let me give you your keyword for the $1,000 cash stash. Your 2:00 keyword for this Wednesday is microphone. 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 So producer Zoe just got very upset with me tapping on the mic. Microphone. Text microphone to 72881, 72881, 72881 for your chance to win $1,000 in the $1,000 cash dash on ESPN Upstate. Final hours next. It's going to be good on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. And Elton John covered Metallica together. I haven't seen it yet, Keegan, but I've heard it. Listen to it when I get off the air today.
I'm trying to in my head.
I know, I can't do it. I can't hear it in my head.
Believe it or not, I'm more okay with Yo-Yo Ma and Miley Cyrus than Elton John, how he factors in there. I'm talking about musically from style. I wonder what style it is.
Yo-Yo Ma is incredible.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
no,
he's
I
incredible.
agree. So I'm trying to decide on there and do my normal Wednesday work and then start trying to decipher all this mess and see if I can fix it. That's probably the smart move.
Yeah.
And what I hate is I might actually have to ask for help.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
All right, now I just want to kill the promo just because Diesel likes it so much.
Yeah, but so do I.
Yeah, but
Everybody who's not you likes
yeah,
this
yeah,
promo.
yeah, yeah. But Diesel's like outweighs your yes.
Him walked in here yesterday was gold.
Well, I would say I can't quote any of his promos. So, I mean, I could go that direction. So memorable. I should take that as a compliment.
I love how good of a shot that was.
Stupid COVID. Might want to get another one of those going. Okay, so Keegan mentioned the piano. Now the piano can.
My assumption was that Elton would be more of a pianist than a vocalist on this. The third, the best hour of the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate gets going now. I am Rob, the dude, Lonzo, back in the network studio. I'm in the network studio.
Well, I guess it's not wrong. I mean,
technically correct, which is the best kind of
I gotta
correct.
tell you what, I'm back further in the network studio
Correct.
than you are.
You know what?
So.
I'm letting it stand. From the door, you are back in the network studio. I am front in the network studio. All right. 844-477-3776, 844-GSP-ESPN. Text us on the Ingles Market text line at 71307, 71307. So you can text with ESPN. We can read them on the air.
Can I do something real quick? You won't like it, but can I do something real quick? I would like to retire a promo.
No.
And you don't want me to retire.
No.
I'm just curious if the listeners were to say that I'm right and it should be retired. Would that sway you? Because in the end, if I want to retire, I'll just kill it.
Yeah, I know. Which remind me after this to go record that onto my personal computer so that I have it to put it back in when you do. You think listeners want that promo gone?
Oh yeah, I probably, because it's it's.
Can you play it?
No.
Please?
No.
Please?
No.
I ask really nicely. Please? Ladies and gentlemen, Lonzo hates what I consider to be the best promo that this show has ever had. He hates it. And I completely understand why. Hates it. It is my favorite promo we have ever. I'm going to argue one of the greatest radio promos of all time. And Lonzo is desperately trying to retire it. He wants it gone. I've been making the argument for days now that not only should it not be the only promo that runs for the show for the next 5, 6, 7 years, it's the best promo we've ever had.
All right, and I'm going to make sure it goes on stream so hopefully it crashes the stream.
The review store. Ladies and gentlemen, the greatest promo ever for this show.
Have you heard the Rob Brown Show?
When I went to go get my COVID test, the guy who did it afterwards noticed my jacket. He's like, well, if I knew you were a Ohio State fan, I'd been there deeper.
I don't
Yeah, don't take it the wrong way there. Yeah, the Q-tip up the nose, by the way.
I am going to leave that.
To blame my recovering from sickness on wording something not the way I should have.
I am going to pull that quote, and from this point forward, anything, that's the sound that's getting played from now on until eternity. I was going to repeat it back to you, Zoe, but I can't do it.
Yeah,
I can't.
yeah.
I can't.
I can't follow up. I can't fix it. Oh, well.
So, do we retire that promo or do we leave it in perpetuity? Text 71307. Retire. I'll let you, the people, vote.
Let me plead my case a little bit here. So when Diesel is quoting said promo and to my face, although obviously I'm willing to, I said it, I made it into the promo.
Yeah,
because I knew it was a bad moment for me, but a good moment for the show. And I don't mind being the punchline, but when Diesel starts coming at me like that, I'm going to retaliate. And so I'm trying to eliminate the need for retaliation. Because if it continues to play, I'm going to have to retaliate, and it's probably going to get ugly. And I don't want to do that. I'm trying here. So it's not about me.
If our options are that promo keeps running or Diesel and Lonzo have a promo war between each other, I can tell you I am very, very in the camp of the latter.
Let's face it. The war's already won. It's not about that. It's not. I mean, you know your skills, and you know what you're good at. I will tell you that he has vast music knowledge, better than me. But that's a war he doesn't want to go into. I really would like to kill a promo, but
I know you would.
But see, here's what I can do.
Kill the promo.
Oh no! Other than that, there's protocol.
Hey, you're up on the vote. First one, let's see. I got A, not only keep it, but make T-shirts, stickers, mugs, and merch. The second one
was Diesel because he said that yesterday.
You know what? I'm gonna verify that
he said that yesterday.
Verify that it is Diesel's number. The second one says ESPN retire it. The best one is Tony Atlas. That is a great promo. You're not wrong about that. It is Diesel's number for the record.
He used his girlfriend's phone.
And the third one, won't do my man Lonzo like that. It is a great promo though. So we have one yes, one no, and one neutral to start the voting. A yes, a no, and a neutral. And I'm going to claim default. If it's a tie, I win. Tie goes to the host.
Again, I may or may not be drawing attention to this so that management, if they're listening, will go, it's out of the window of protocol, and it might be time to freshen.
Damn it. I fell for your scheme. I never fall for your schemes, and I fell for your scheme.
Well, I didn't have to tell you.
No, and I would have kept falling for it. You made the classic Batman villain blunder, which you went song into your monologue that you revealed your scheme unintentionally.
Oh, no.
No, you brought the monster, said Loki.
No, it was intentional. It was absolutely intentional. So when
now management.
When the boss says pull it, then it's like, hey man, it's not my fault. I have to do what I'm told as a team player, of course.
Bravo. The conductor, ladies and gentlemen, he knows the game.
But I know we need to go, but he's not listening because I haven't received a text yet. So you're good.
We're still alive, ladies and gentlemen. 71307, text ESPN keep or ESPN retire. Your opinions. Do we keep that promo? Do we retire that promo? Scratch that. Put that promo on hiatus for 6 months and immediately bring it back. Your call. All right, let's go back to what happened with Max Scherzer, Joe Girardi. If you missed it, here's what we've done for you so far. Middle of the inning, Max Scherzer for the Nats last night is dealing, son. He's hot. Multiple Ks in the game. Racks up another one, and after the K goes down, Joe Girardi calls for an inspection on the grip. Now, Girardi explained why he called. He explains why. Clip 14, Lonzo, if you don't mind. He explained why he called for the check on Max Scherzer, and here's what Joe Girardi had to say.
I've seen Max a long time, since 2010. Obviously, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. But I've never seen him wipe his head like he was doing tonight, ever. Going like this, right? So It was 4 or 5 times. It was suspicious. I didn't mean to offend anyone. I just got to do what's right for our club.
What prompted you the next inning to go on the field and basically challenge their club?
No, I wasn't challenging the club. There were some coaches that were screaming at me, right? And coaches that I know, and it bothered me, right? I mean, I'm not playing games, trying to win games here. I'm not playing games, and I have respect for the other people over there. I have respect for what Max has done in his career. But again, I got to do what's right for our team.
If you're not watching the stream and don't know what I'm laughing at, Lonzo just had a visceral reaction to Joe Girardi's quote there.
Joe, you are playing games. That's what you're doing, man. It's your job. That's what you're doing.
First off, your job is literally play games.
Yes.
Literally, baseball is a game. But second off, you're telling me you called for a mid-inning check of Max Scherzer?
You know,
that's not gamesmanship?
I've watched Rob for, since he's been here, and I've never seen him wipe his head before, so I think he needs to be checked.
Now, Scherzer says he was wiping his head, and there's a reason he's never had to do it before. Clip number 16. Now, this is like 3 separate responses for Max Scherzer after he was informed of what Joe Girardi said, the reason for checking. He says he did wipe his head, but he gives a reason. Here's what Max Scherzer had to say after all this went down.
Did you view his decision as performative or an actual baseball thing?
I don't know. I'm not just going to get into it. It's just, it is what it is. Just for me, it's when you look at how the game unfolded and you specifically that at bat, I don't, for me, I don't think I'd have to be an absolute fool to actually use something tonight when everybody's intent is everybody's intent is, so far high to look for anything. So, it is what it is. Turn the page, move on. I wasn't heated. I was just trying to show I have absolutely zero on me. I have nothing on me. Check whatever you want. I'll take off all my clothes if you want to see me. I got nothing on me. Just using rosin tonight, so wasn't doing anything. That's all fine. And obviously Girardi, for me, it's kind of confusing. If you watch the bomb at bat, I almost put a damn 5-mile-an-hour fastball on his head because the ball slipped out of my hand. The whole night I was sick of kind of licking my fingers and tasting rosin the whole night. So the only part, I couldn't even get sweat from the back of my head because it wasn't really a warm night. So for me, the only part that was sweaty on me was actually my hair. So I had to take off my hat to be able to try to get any type of, try to get some type of moisture on my hand to try, mix with the rosin. And so,
so that's what Max Scherzer had to say. He said, I was wiping my head because it was the only place that there was moisture. And I was tired of licking my fingers because my hand tasted like rosin because I was also using rosin to get a grip. And he said, because of that, I lost control and I almost parked a 95-mile-an-hour heater right in the ear hole of Alex Boehm during that at-bat, which there was an at-bat where Scherzer went high and inside. Ball looked to have gotten away from him, went right up near Scherzer's schnoz, or near Boehm's schnoz. Schnoz had to bail out, hit the deck hard. It was a scary moment, I'm sure, for him.
I'm just curious. Did you notice that he made sure he emphasized tonight several times?
Yeah.
So basically saying he cheats other times, but he was not cheating tonight.
So I would bet you 85 to 95% of pitchers in Major League Baseball were using a grip enhancer at some point. All right. 80 to 95% of them were. I have no doubt there. The number of guys who have never used a grip substance is far smaller than the number of guys who have.
I also want to point out, even though I haven't listened to that other show, I've seen several posts about the hosts saying these guys are babies, how they're handling this. And I think they're handling it exactly how they should handle it. Make it the show that it is.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you exaggerate everything and you make it the show that it is and make it the interruption that it is, it might go away.
I just thought about it. If I am a pitcher who uses doctoring material and I'm trying to make this go away, you know what my game plan has just become after watching this last night? Every time that the opposing pitcher does anything, I'm going to my manager and going, hey, coach, that's where I used to hide spider tack. You should check him. 2 batters later, hey, coach, he just touched his cleat. I used to put spider tack on my cleat. You should check him. I'm getting Joe Girardi out there every 3 batters to check Max Scherzer. constantly, because I want it to become a spectacle like it was in the Phillies-Nats game last night. That's exactly my goal. And you heard Scherzer say, look, I lost control. I was trying to get sweat off my head because it's the only moisture that I could find out there, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. Let me go to clip 12. Clayton Kershaw, pitch for the Dodgers. He checked in after all this went down as well. Here's what Clayton Kershaw had to say.
It's a good technique. I think you got to get going in a rhythm or something, and maybe you have a guy on base and have him check as you used to. So, maybe they lose, or maybe if they have a challenge, there should be repercussions for managers just doing that, them like that, because if you call somebody out, anybody, but as somebody of Max Scherzer's caliber, and you don't find anything, I think that looks pretty bad on his part, the manager's part. They're just doing their job. They're told what to do, and I think it's just kind of a funny look in general. But I guess that's what they want, so we'll do it. And I will say this: how Girardi called him out. I think there should be a punishment if they don't catch anything on the guy, because I think that Scherzer, he's one of the best pitchers of our generation. And to see him get checked, and I think it was first and third situation or guys on base, and mess up his rhythm, I think he ended up getting out of it. But you better find something if you're going to call him out like that. So maybe there should be like a punishment if a manager checks a guy and there isn't anything or something like that. But other than that, it is what it is. It's whatever.
That's coming down the pipe. Guarantee you that's coming down the pipe. Managers get 2 inspection calls per game. If you call for an inspection at any point, it gets carried out. If you miss on it, you're done. And if you don't miss on it, then you find a guy, he gets tossed, and you get to check again later in the game. You get one. It's like an NFL instant replay, right?
Yeah, but so if you only get 2, the smart pitchers that are going to cheat, they're going to wait till that second one is called, and then the manager is going to hang on to that second one for later innings, because he's going to try to play it smart, so the people in between can get away with it if it's not the end of the game. So if you were to cheat, the best place to cheat, I would think, would be the middle innings of a game.
Yep. But also keep in mind that the umpires still perform checks on every pitcher anyway, right? So they're just saying the managers get a mid-inning check. The umpires are going to check every other inning anyway, or every now and then between innings anyway, and every time a pitcher goes out or comes in. So basically, here's the way it's set up. When a pitcher enters the game, whether it's the start of the game or any reliever or closer that comes in, he is checked when he comes into the game, and he's checked when he goes out of the game. So a starting pitcher could theoretically, Zoe, come out to pitch the opening frame with nothing on him, know that he's going 6 innings tonight. That's his schedule. He's trying to make it to 6 innings. Goes out there on the first inning with nothing. Second, third, fourth, and fifth inning, he puts a little spider tack on the inside of his glove. And then between the 5th and 6th inning, he goes down into the locker room and he takes some soap and he rubs the spider tack off, and then he goes and he pitches the 6th inning without anything. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Number one, that's why the manager can check in inning, right? Because the guy knows he's clear if he makes it through the first inspection. He's clear until he comes out of the game to use. So that's why the manager gets to call inspections in game. But Joe Girardi didn't use it, I don't think, because he genuinely thought Scherzer was dominating his team and he needed a break. He wanted to try to throw him off rhythm. That's why it needs to stay in place, but we got to regulate it. Texter says, unlimited checks, but if you are wrong, it costs you an out. So you can call for an inspection anytime you want. But if you call for an inspection and they can't find anything, you have an out. That's first out, second out, third out, whatever. I don't hate that. I really don't hate that, Lonzo. I really don't. Plus, speeds up the game, right? Because either inspections work and we're tossing pitchers, or they don't work and we got one fewer out that we got to sit through. I actually like that idea, Texter. Well done.
That would make it very interesting as far as what we just saw. That wouldn't happen very often after that, I would think.
Yep. We got invited end of July to come out and throw first pitches at the Spartanburgers game. I think the last Thursday in July, me and Zoe will be there. Last Friday, Mark and Diesel will be there. Somebody said, can you please check Mark Ryan for spider tack before he pitches at the Spartanburgers game? I don't need to check. Mark can use any enhancing substance he wants. I am still going to outgun Mark. Still going to outgun him.
So they're splitting this up. Just because they're splitting this up doesn't mean we can't go see the other guys pitch.
Are you kidding me? I'm going to heckle Mark Ryan like it's
Yeah.
my life.
Yeah, I want to.
We are going to heck. I'm making signs.
Dude, we need to somehow make our way mysteriously on the field while he's getting ready to throw the pitch.
Yeah. I'm heckling. I am heckling voraciously.
We got connections. We can come in. We can do the old wrestling camera guy and come out from behind the camera or something, and he doesn't know we're there. Well, we can do that sort of thing.
One of us comes out in the catcher's gear without him knowing it's us, and then frames him bad.
Ooh, yeah.
Just saying. Mark Ryan can use any substance he wants. I am outgunning him from the mound. It's happening. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back here in just a minute from right now. The NBA last night had a game that a lot of you hated. A lot of you hated. It took 30 minutes to play 90 seconds. I loved it. And I'll tell you why when we come back. I'm Rob Hezo. This is the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate.
Prisma.
Prisma Health, the official healthcare provider of the Clemson Tigers and the Gamecocks of the University of South Carolina. They want to be the official healthcare providers for you and your family as well. And it's very, very easy to get that set up. All you got to do is go to prismahealth.org. And what you're going to see there is just how easy and convenient it is for you to manage your healthcare needs with and alongside Prisma Health. Go to prismahealth.org. And what you're going to see are the 2,400 plus medical healthcare providers within their network right here in our area. They are going to have a doctor, a nurse, a practical physician, whatever you're looking for. They are going to have one that's right for you and your family, that you and your family can trust. They also have locations all around the, it's like every time I go somewhere new in the upstate, I come across another Prisma building. All right. Because they want to have as many locations that are convenient to everyone in the upstate as they possibly can. And you can use their My Chart feature. It keeps all of your healthcare information right there available at the click of a button right in front of you. You and your doctor have the most up-to-date, streamlined, and most importantly, confidential information available when you need it at the click of a button. It's just that easy, ladies and gentlemen. To learn more and to get yourself set up to get your healthcare looked after with the healthcare provider of Clemson in South Carolina, go to prismahealth.org. Prismahealth.org. Learn more. Get registered. It's our friends at Prisma Health right here in the upstate. Pocono's a great course to watch, Lonzo.
Okay.
It's not a new game. They made a whole movie about baseball.
They did. Which I've never seen. I've seen bits and pieces of it, but
it's very Mike Judge.
Yeah. And they say, this person wrote this movie. It's like, yeah, okay, I know what this movie's going to be about.
Bank.
I've never understood why you have to call a bank. It's still 2 points.
If you're calling glass, it's because you have to let people know you're not getting glass.
Shake the mouse while you're over there. I'm just trying to watch the delay. And you threw the missed the shot and walked over there. I'm not so sure you can.
All the way over here. Hey, everybody from this side.
You hit the ceiling. I heard it. Sure it was. So what makes that shot that barely went in better than a bank shot? Any less?
Your default shot is, or not an air ball, you're aiming for a swish. That's the default shot, is to go straight through the net, no iron, right?
I got to tell you, when I was playing, I was not organized, but in the neighborhood, I aimed for a spot on the backboard because there was a sweet spot for me. If I was in a certain corner, if I hit this spot every time, it was money. I'm not worried about the swish. I'm worried about the points.
In a game, you're worried about the point. But if you're just taking the proper shots, if you're just shooting, you're aiming for air or for swish and nothing else.
As bad as I am, I'm just glad if anything goes in. Yeah.
Oh, 6 is the record. That's it. Oh, too much. How much time we got? I gotta get this.
You still got a minute and a half.
The universe. Dang, my portfolio went at 5% today.
Good for you.
I own 2 stocks.
That's awesome. Well, I think you probably own some stock here, whether you want or not. So
I don't think I'm enrolled in the.
Yeah, I don't think I am either, and I think they made me. So yeah.
Considering we're about to, I can't imagine our stocks aren't going to soar when we add yet another sports talk show of the year to the resume.
Yeah, no, I agree. There's another spot missing. Surprised I haven't got 10,000 emails yet. As upset you are about poor reporting, I'm just as upset about structure.
I get it.
And the reason why I like structure is so I can go crazy within the structure, but know where the structure is.
Yeah.
Oh, why are they trending? Let's see what that is.
Please give me a reason that I don't buy this immediately. Just come up with a reason.
No, you need to buy that.
All right, the Rob Brown Show rolls on. This is ESPN Up. Many of y'all hated the of the Clippers-Suns game 2 last night. I loved it. All 33 minutes that it took to play the last 90 seconds. Loved it. In love with it for a lot of different reasons. I was in love with it because, first off, the Clips and the Suns were both absolutely bringing it. They knew that that's a must-win for the LA Clippers, no doubt about it. I thought it was a really, really need to win for the Phoenix Suns. You need to get the Clippers down as far as you can get them before Kawhi comes back. All right? Because when Kawhi comes back, it's a different ball game against a different team. Last night, we had fouls that were questionable. We had instant replays that were questionable. We had scuffles between players. It got a wee bit chippy, as every ball club announcer of all time has said when a kerfuffle breaks out. It's a little chippy out there on the field tonight, Bob. It did, all of it. It was great. He had broken noses. My man D Book took a headshot from Patrick Beverly, broke his nose later in the night, returned the favor. When on an offensive drive, he swung the right arm and collected Patrick Beverly's head with the back of his arm. By the way, for the record, that call was correct. I love D Book, but that was an offensive foul. That was an offensive foul. It absolutely was. Our buddy Panda texting in said Pat Beverly with that flop needs to get a fine. Absolutely ridiculous. That was almost the difference in the game ending. Panda, I love you, dog. I love you, dog. But that was an offensive foul. Devin Booker swung his right hand out, connected. You can see it. Go back in the replay. Watch the slow motion for the backside cam. The back of Devin Booker's arm hit Patrick Beverly right in the mouth. It was an offensive foul. And I think that's one thing a lot of – look, fouls are good to be called when they're fouls. When they're fouls. And that was. By the way, Texter said Rob enjoyed it because he doesn't have to wake up until 11 a.m. The rest of us have real jobs and got to wake up. Just kidding, man. Love the show. Excuse me. I'm back in the studio now. I have to be awake now at like 9 a.m., Lonzo. I have to be awake at like 9 a.m.
I will say today is the first day he beat me into the. I mean, I beat him into the office. Yeah. I twisted there. So he's been here.
Yeah, I'm in between 9 and 9:15.
I'm not acting like I'm here early, but you know.
All that being said, if you got a second, Zoe, I need clip 18 when you get a second. Last night, 0.9 seconds on the clock. Suns, after a replay, it was determined the ball went off the Clippers. Suns are inbounding underneath their own basket. You are going to hear two things in this clip. The first was the discussion that went on in the huddle between the head coach of the Phoenix Suns, Monty Williams, and DeAndre Ayton, who is the big man for the Suns. The second is the audio, the play-by-play from that final play. 0.7 seconds on the clock. The Suns have enough time to basically volleyball tip the basketball towards the net for a chance to win. Here's how it went down.
Our ball. Okay, execute it. DA. If he throws it, you got to try to dunk it, okay?
Crowder will inbound. Cousins waving his arms. Not an easy inbound with that big body in front of you. Crowder looking, throws it alley. Oh! He puts it down! He puts it down! It's over!
And they're trying to say goaltending, but that's a live basketball. He can finish it. What a perfectly executed play. Ayton guides it in beautifully. What an incredible job by Monty Williams designing that play to perfection.
I need to see what the TV ratings look like for that game. I need to see. Because if they didn't drop, then I hope they won't. But I hope the NBA will take note that just because LeBron and KD, Kyrie, and James and the rest of your marquee superstars aren't in the playoffs are still really good.
How many times have you watched that clip over and over again?
About 14.
I've watched it a ton too.
About 14 times. It was awesome. Imagine, first off, if you are one of the people that's not watching the playoffs, and I can't imagine there's a ton, but if you are one of the people who are not watching the playoffs because there's no LeBron, AD, Kyrie, KD, James Harden, if you're not watching because, first off, I would like to introduce you to Devin Booker and Trae Young. They are the future, y'all. They're the future. They're real. Second off, Zoe, could you imagine? I mean, I know you can because you didn't watch the game. But you knew what happened. You came back in, you walked in this morning, and you've watched that clip because it was a spectacular end to a certifiably insane game. Could you imagine? Could you imagine taking those moments away from yourself because the superstars aren't alive? Adam Silver, nobody's doing that. Stop trying to fight. Now, the narrative went last night. Here, I'll read you a text. I'll read you a text that I got last night. My buddy Brandon back down in Destin, big NBA, texted me at 12:04 a.m., Lonzo. Holy bleep, what a game. I responded, the playoffs are boss this year. He responded, if the Clippers won, I thought there might have been an addition to your conspiracy theory segment on your show tomorrow in regard to the league not wanting the Suns in because of the out-of-bounds call reversal. I said, yep, I thought the same thing, but just because the Clippers lost doesn't mean that conspiracy theory is not real. They could not have known Ayton was going to pull that hero ball off. And he said, you're right. I feel like they took 10 minutes on the reversal because somebody had to call into Adam Silver's private line. So I don't know if you want to cue up the conspiracy theory music here.
See, I had it and then I put it back because I don't want to overuse it. But
ain't no such thing. Ain't no such thing. That's too good. It's too good. Is it real? Conspiracy. Did the NBA force a controversial replay to go the Clippers' way in order to protect them while Kawhi Leonard remains injured? Conspiracy. Stop, man. I'm trying to get through this. You can't laugh. Conspiracy. Did Adam Silver dictate to the officials to overturn calls in order to help the Clippers remain alive? Say it. Thank you. Did the Phoenix Suns have to pull off an incredible moment? Come on, man. In order to overturn Adam Silver's overturning them. Only time will tell. But for now, we'll let you decide. Coming up next on The Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. Is he going to say it again?
It's like jazz, man. I didn't want it there everywhere. It's just like it shows up where it's, yeah. It's oversaturation. I mean, come on. I don't think it happens again.
Oh, that's it? Okay.
I think, yeah.
All right, fine. Coming up next on The Rob Brown Show. I don't even know what's coming up next. I got lost in the conspiracy thing.
Here, I could do this. Conspiracy.
Coming up next. Vegas has put out their over-under for wins in college football.
Conspiracy.
Who leads the nation? The answer may surprise you.
Conspiracy.
That's next on The Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. It's so dumb and I love it so much. Oh, man.
So I literally, when putting it together, thought this is much. I need to space it out a little bit. And there's no way we'll go all the way through the entire bed. And I was wrong. So, I mean, yeah. What you're doing is you listen to the promo that I made and thinking that.
I know it's I know it's more spread out in the actual music. But I didn't know if you had done it every two phrases or every 2 beats or whatnot. So I kept.
It was very difficult for me, but I did not make it consistent.
Okay, that's what threw me off.
I don't know about you guys. I think you can overuse a bit. And so I just don't, I don't know how doing a bit will overuse it. Although we've only done it for the third time. So I don't know.
Go ahead, add some smart TV to your smart TV with Curiosity Stream. Go to curiositystream.com to sign up and start streaming today.
The Wendy's restaurant in your area has issued a major bag alert. The bacon double stack is back in the biggie bag with fries, nuts, and the drink, all for just $5. The following are to be expected. Sure, disbelief, inability to think about anything else. This deal is effective and it's only at Wendy's.
Pull into Church's Experience of Bourbon Black Pepper Smokehouse Chicken is back and just without bourbon blaze. Only at Church's, only $5. Church's, bringing that down home flavor. Offer valid at participating locations.
It's time for some straight talk. Sure, saving money feels good. But cutting your wireless bill in half, that feels really good. Like walk-off home runs in the ninth inning kind of good. Okay, maybe not that good, but pretty darn good. With straight talk, you can get 25 gigs of high-speed data for $45 a month, up to 50% less than the other guys. Plus, no contract. All America's best. Why pay a whole lot? You can pay half. Straight talk wireless. No contract, no compromise.
Bria's fashion boutique is the worst. First they asked me if I needed help finding anything. Just because I'm gorgeous doesn't mean I need help.
Oh, I thought this thing was over. Did you ever follow the whole Nexium thing?
No.
With Allison Mack?
No.
Who used to be on Smallville, but then she was a part of a cult.
Part of a cult?
An actual cult documentary out, which is, it's fascinating. She just now turned over even more evidence. There was branding involved and a bunch. It's weird.
Oh, dang. Audible. I just found something out, Lonzo.
Okay.
Just found something out. Not about work. It's about me.
Oh, okay.
It's about
All right.
me.
I heard you talking to Diesel, so I thought we were going to get something good.
No.
but,
No. I mean, for me, it's great.
okay.
You ever done thoughts where it's like multiple games in a day? You ever done anything like that before?
No.
Lonzo did not like whatever just popped up on his phone.
I won't be going immediately into the office
Gotcha.
after the show.
Gotcha.
So
I'm going in September, end of September, golf. And me and the lady friend are knocking a travel bucket list item down. We're going to Boston. Never been to Boston. Never been to Massachusetts. By the way, if you say Massachusetts, it's a good way to get a conversation with you. There's no T in that. Well, there's a T. There's two T's
I was
in
going
that
to say
word.
there's multiple T's in
It's
that.
not Massachusetts. How did it start to pronounce Massachusetts?
Hey, yo, Massachusetts.
No. It's Massachusetts.
Here's what I'm curious. I don't believe I've met anyone from there. I would be curious as to how they pronounce it.
I don't care if they say it Massachusetts. That's still wrong. If you want to say Massachusetts, then go to the state constitution, change the name of your state to put a T in the middle of it because it's Massachusetts. Who hurt you?
Mike Krzyzewski.
That's Polish. That's a whole different language.
Is it?
It makes sense.
Because it's not spelled that way.
Massachusetts. Anyway, I'm going up to Boston. Shipping up to Boston in late September. Going up for a week. Lady friend are flying up on the 25th of September. And when she brought this idea to me, she said, hey, why don't we go up on the 25th? We were going to up. She said, let's go on the 25th. And I said, all right, cool. Any reason for this? We initially planned going in October. And she said, yeah, on the 26th, which is a Sunday, Lonzo, the Yankees are playing at Fenway Park against the Red Sox. And she said, I want to go to a game at Fenway and watch a Yankees-Red Sox game at Fenway. And I said, obviously, hell yeah, we're doing that. Did something out to me, Lonzo. That game is likely, fingers crossed, going to be hopefully that'll be a night game, though, because at 1:00 on the same day, The New Orleans Saints are playing at Gillette Stadium and playing Cam Newton and his New England Patriots on the road. So if they do, and that game is TBD, the Yankees, if that is a night game, fingers crossed on Sunday night, Lonzo, will see at Patriots in the daytime and then Yankees at Red Sox at nighttime. I'll knock Gillette and Fenway off in the same day within 6 hours of each other. I have to do that, right? Like, that has to be the way to handle it.
This is one of those opportunities that doesn't come along very often. Yes, you absolutely have to. If you have the ability to do this, you have to do this.
Have to do it. The lady friend, I said, what exact date do we get to Boston? She said the 25th. So I sent her a picture of the Saints schedule, which is the 26th, Saints and Patriots at 1 o'clock. I said, thought so. So how brave you feeling? Because if that's a night game, ... And she said, fine with me. Hashtag key. Second off, I have to do that. If I get to do nothing else, that I want to do on that trip, I want to do Paul Revere Trail, I am Adam Brewery, I want to do all the typical Baston tourist stuff. I want to do I'll go to Cheers, see Boston, yada, yada, do all the stuff. But I can knock Saints at Patriots, followed by Yankees at Red Sox. I can knock Fenway and Gillette both off in the same day and see my Saints play. Dude, that's a must. It's a must, right? That's a blow my travel fund on 2 tickets to both of those games and still consider it a successful week, right?
So you're saying you're not going to take the Comrex with you and do the show live from, each of those venues?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. That is what Fenway specifically. Saints at Patriots, it could be fun to do some stuff from inside the stadium. But getting to see the Red Sox host the Yankees in Fenway, I don't do this very often, Zoe. I'm going to be real selfish. That baseball game is about me.
Good for you.
It's about me. That's me getting to knock off a trip to one of the great American ball stadiums off. That trip is about me. So I got to do it, right? I got to do it.
Yeah, there's no doubt you have to do this. Pull this off, you definitely do it.
Let's see. Handful of texts that have come in. At last, conspiracy voiced by Goofy from the Pulse. Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
Can either confirm or deny.
At ESPN, you ever say a word too many times and suddenly it loses all meaning and you question whether it's even a real word? Conspiracy.
Say it. Oversaturation.
It's a conspiracy.
It is.
At ESPN, Massachusetts is that's how you say it. At ESPN, Fenway and Foxborough in the same day while on holiday. State has to put $20K down for this trip. You really don't, though. The Patriots aren't good, but I'm thinking 100. Let's say what? Top end is what? $150 for a ticket to Saints Patriots. Let's say.
But whether the Patriots are good or not, that doesn't matter. They usually
sell out. Yeah. So I'm talking $150 to sit. And at the top, I'm just there. So I'm looking at $300 to get us both in that stadium. I'm looking at probably $300 to get us both into Fenway. $600 to do that in a day. Well worth it. 2 minutes worth it. Somebody Ducks quote. You're welcome. At ESPN, she 100% leaves at halftime for a nap. That's why it's good the football game comes. You wear yourself out of the football game, then you go to a baseball game. Baseball games are nice and relaxing, even if they're a great game. But no, she's a sports girl. She loves baseball games, and she loves football games. So I'm good. At ESPN, if your girlfriend ends up dumping you before those dates, I got your back, and I'll come with you. Suspect if I said I need a date to Boston to do a Saints-Pats game, the Yankees-Sox game, and the tickets already bought, there's not going to be a shortage of folks who would line up for that. And you get to hang out with me? Come on, man. At ESPN, what call a Boston sport? All right, I can't read that. I mean, texter. Great text, but I can't read that. At ESPN, Cheers ain't that great. I don't suspect it would be. I suspect it's more tourist trap than Cheers. But you got to do it, right? Just to say you've been there, you got to do it.
You're not going to say anything when you walk through, like Norm or something.
If I walk in and nobody knows my name, I'm going to be pissed. All right.
False advertising.
False advertising. And at ESPN, she gets to Cam Newton. She is very okay with going. Why do I suspect that I know that phone number? I know that phone number. I suspect I know who that is already. I really do.
As he rifles through his phone to see if he does.
No, it's not her.
Ah.
Shocking. It's not her. She's not an Auburn girl. She's not an Auburn girl. She's a Panther. Well, she's not like a Panthers fan.
But I know she's seen Cam before in Spartanburg.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. She may very well have a thing for Cam. Zoe, if it gets me into a Saints game, I'm going. If it gets me into a Saints game,
all I know is every year when I go to Panther camp, my wife wanted me to take pictures of Luke Kuechly and send them back to her. So, I'm okay with that.
Let's take a break. Very, very, very short Twitter trending topic. When we come back on show, it's ESPN Upstate.
So you have
That's your first step towards fixing it. And let me help you out by telling you who can help you. That is healthcare. Healthcare, you're going to lose weight in 30 days, guaranteed, or your money back. That's one of the things that people get up when they start wanting to lose weight, don't want to be hungry all the time. You're not going to be hungry with the healthcare. You're going to be able to eat the food that's in your food that's in the pantry. And speaking of that, right now, you sign up. They will buy groceries for you. If you've been in the grocery store, prices are up all over the place. What a deal that is to get groceries bought for you for an entire month. Now, on top, you're also going to get healthy from the cellular level. You're going to look good. You're going to feel good. You are going to have the energy to face the day. You're not going to be afraid of that mirror. But you cannot do it till you do it. So do it today. Here's how you get started with your health. Go to iHearYou.com. Thoughts and information on that. Put you in for a free consultation. And the way to lose that weight. Get free of groceries. Sign up now. Go to iHearMe.com today. When you're there, make sure you tell them that one. There.
Most trusted forecast on ESPN Upstate. From this afternoon, lower to mid-80s, we'll have light winds in Montana. 64. Breeze on Thursday, we will see plenty of sunshine. I'm staff meteorologist Andy Falliver on ESPN. Right now, 81 degrees.
Ronaldo. Soccer jerseys with collars on them. I'm up in the air. I don't hate them.
Are you suffering from chronic pain in your hips, knees, shoulder, back? Are you tired of living with arthritis pain? QC Kinetics offers natural pain treatments that can repair and restore damaged tissue in your joints.
Listen, I know pain, and I've seen firsthand how therapists can do. Patients at QC Kinetics rave about their results because they're getting their lives back. They are getting moving again.
These exciting regenerative treatments used to be available for athletes like it. Now they're available to anyone, thanks to QC Kinetics. Call today for your free consult.
Get long-lasting results from our QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics 864-448-3772. 2 area locations. 772. That's 864-447-72.
Yeah, I saw.
See Stephen A. Smith?
I did.
Watch the face of Stephen A. Smith at the end. Wilbon is stunned. I love it.
I'm trying to push off the feelings of dread for at least 3 more minutes.
Can I help with anything?
No.
Will if I can.
If I come back, start taking posters down. Yeah, then you know it didn't go well.
We have time for what? One? Not even one? One-ish?
We got time for one.
I got to stay on the clock in the last hour is the only one that I really like go off the rails.
All right, time for Twitter trending topics. You know the deal. All right, so let's go with the first thing that's trending. Indiana Jones 5 is trending.
I just let Indy be. Just let Indy be. Indy's gonna die though, right? Han Solo is on a mission to kill all of his classic characters at this point.
Funny you should say that. No, he's not dead, but Harrison Ford got injured on the movie, and I believe it's his shoulder. Preparing for a fight scene. When you get preparing for a fight scene, it'd be a sign that you may be too old to do a fight scene.
You know that means what that means. We're getting in this movie. We're getting another guy pulls out giant sword, does a whole choreographed thing, and Harrison Ford just shoots him.
So you're saying he threw his arm out of socket, pulling the gun out?
Yeah.
That's a possibility. All right, time for one more. Chance the Rapper says that Eddie Murphy turned down the chance to do Total Recall. He says it would have been a better movie. Eddie Murphy or Arnold Schwarzenegger?
No, Arnold. I love Eddie Murphy. I love Eddie.
I'm on top of everything.
I Murphy, but that movie doesn't work because
Because then it becomes
a comedy movie.
Yeah, it becomes a comedy.
Yeah.
Total Recall did have some funny moments in it,
Sure.
but they were few and far between. And
It's a different movie.
Gotta have Arnold.
Like saying Eddie Murphy is the Terminator. Like, yeah, it would have been unique in its own way, but it would have gone down cult classic and not legitimately great movie. All right, let's try to win you $1,000 before we get out of here for the day. Your keyword for the upcoming 3:00 hour is great. Like, wouldn't it be great if Robin Lonzo won the 2021 Star Award for Best Sports Talk Show in the state? Yes, it would be great. GREAT. Text GREAT, GREAT, to 72881. 72881 for your chance to win $1,000 in the $1,000 cash dash on ESPN Upstate. That's it for me and Lonzo. Mark Ryan and Diesel are up next. Ladies and gentlemen, tuna is tuna. All right? Read the article. Don't drink and drive. I'll punch you. This was the Rob ESPN Upstate. Back tomorrow. Later. We just scared Diesel. Did you listen to my segment on tuna DNA today? It was compelling NPR.
This
so it turns
is
out.
Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi, this just in from ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. The Celtics finalizing a deal to hire Nets assistant Ime Udoka as their new head coach. Hawk continuing to tick toward tip-off for Game 1 of the NBA's Eastern Conference Finals between the Hawks and Bucks, coming off a series sweep of Miami and 7-game set with Brooklyn. Milwaukee center Brooks Lopez says they know what a great opportunity they have to win a title. The Bucks should make quick work of the Hawks. His first co-host Stephen A. Smith.
And did find tuna DNA. The tuna at Subway is tuna. She just knew clickbait headline with bad science. And if you read the article, she literally says in it, here's why this lab would fall apart in the testing. But I decided
Game
to
1,
write
8
this article
Eastern,
anyway
ESPN Radio.
because I needed
National
clickbait.
GM Mike Rizzo